Yo, what is good, folks? It's your boy Sports PSP. Welcome to another episode of the Sports PSP podcast. Hope everyone is enjoying a fantastic evening. First and foremost, happy holidays. Hope everyone is enjoying the holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is. Hope everyone is just taking time being around family, being around loved ones, just having a good time. And hope I know y'all doing some Christmas shopping. I know y'all running up y'all bills at the stores. So either way, have fun, enjoy your time with friends and family. I got my man, undisputed world champ. How are you doing, my brother? And happy holidays.
Hey, it's going good. Things are good in the state of Georgia. Shout out to Atron Jackson and Carver High.
Mm-hmm.
Brought home the state championship for the city of Columbus, Georgia in 5A football. So, hey, like I said, man, you ever want to play some pigskin? Columbus and Georgia got what you need. Congratulations to the state champs, right? Straight out of Columbus, Georgia. Shout out to Columbus, Georgia, by the way, man. Y'all doing good tonight, man. So I'm just glad to be here, man. Always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be right here on the Sports PSP podcast, the highlight of Friday nights, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got one more BRF in the building. How are you doing, brother?
Life is good. I cannot complain. How y'all brothers doing this evening? Hey, man, it's another week, bro. We doing what we do best, man. How's everybody living?
Chilling, man. Everyone's having a good time. I know a lot of people have been running up their credit card bill because of Christmas shopping and holiday shopping.
Most, I ain't had to worry about that too much just yet, but I know it's coming because I know I got my trip next week, so I'm a little nervous. I know it's coming, so we're gonna see what happens.
We'll see what's happening. And also, shout out to the great Mama PSP. Hope Mama PSP is enjoying a beautiful evening. Shout out to also my beautiful friends out there who are working, Angie, Dulce, my friend Maddie, and a lot of the crew. Hope everyone's enjoying the time. But fellas, let's talk about last week, man. Last Saturday, Travis Hunter, he won the Heisman Trophy. BRF, I'm gonna let you go first because I know you voted for Ashton Genty of Boise State. Do you have a problem with Travis Hunter winning the Heisman?
I mean, even though my pick was Ashton Genty, I absolutely have no problem with Travis Hunter winning this award. I mean, and you just have to look at the sheer impact he made as much as he was on the field, being able to put up the numbers he did as a wide receiver, the numbers he did as a corner. I mean, putting up over 90 catches, 1,400 yards, and then still being able to play on the other side of the ball, get 4 picks, and just be a menace on the other side of the ball as well. So I got no problem with Travis Hunter winning the award at all, just from a sheer numbers perspective, as far as the value he brought, just being on the field at all time and just being able to contribute in every way, shape, or form. So I don't have a problem at all with Travis Hunter winning this award. I will say this though, I still look at my thing with Ashton Genty was still the standpoint of just they knew what Boise was going to do, and they still couldn't stop it. And 12-1, a conference championship, a college football playoff appearance. I mean, I was looking at overall impact of what he did for Boise State and the fact that they are in the college football playoff. But I mean, with Travis Hunter, you're just looking at it from the standpoint of, what I'm saying, you can definitely make the case with him playing both sides of the ball and having amazing impact. You can make the case he was the most outstanding player in college football, and that's what the Heisman Trophy Award is. So shout out to Travis Hunter. I don't have a problem with him winning the award.
Champ, talk to me.
The most exciting player that we have seen play both sides of the ball since Charles Woodson and Champ Bailey. I get mad as crap when people leave my guy Champ Bailey out of that conversation of two-way player because he played two ways too down here in the SEC. So let's not forget about it. He may not have won the Heisman, but he was known for being a two-way player. So, hey, look, I know people are gonna have the only reason why people don't like Travis Hunter winning that award is because his coach is Deion Sanders. Let's just keep it all the way 100. The only reason why the collective consciousness does not like the fact that he won the Heisman is because Deion is his coach. If Kirby Smart was his coach, you hear his praises being sung even higher than it is right about now. If Kurt Signetti was his coach, Marcus Freeman, any of these traditional type coaches, they'd be, even Lane Kiffin, they'd be singing his praises right now. But since Deion is his coach, Colorado's on the flashy side, and they are very, very flamboyant, and they're very, very flashy, and they're very, very loud, and they're winning. Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason why people don't like it. Granted, Ashton Jeanty had one heck of a season. We seen guys do Heisman, get 2,000 yards before not win the Heisman. We've seen that before. We saw Melvin Gordon do it not too long ago. We saw that before. Now, to BRF's point, it's going to be interesting to see what he does in the playoff because, hey, without him, Ashton Jeanty is essentially to Boise State what Jamal Lewis was to the Baltimore Ravens. And once you stop him, everything is done. But it's going to be interesting to see what he does in the playoff, especially, once they start, if they advance. But I have no problem with Travis Hunter winning because the thing is this. Best two-way, he was top. He won he was the best versatile player in arguably the history. Won the Biletnikoff Award, and you won the Chuck McNairick Award, and you won the Ronnie Lott Award. For those of you who don't know who Ronnie Lott is, that's one of the best cornerbacks / safeties of all time. So he left even before he won the Heisman with all of the hardware. And to people saying, oh, it's a popularity contest now. It's a popularity contest. Look, it's quite ironic that people want to say that now when the person who you don't want to win wins. And I'm just going to be real. You have to the thing is this, just to be quite frankly honest with you. The only reason that people wanted Ashton Jeanty to win, a lot of people, is because they didn't want Travis Hunter to win. And that is a fact. But other than that, he was top. He had double-digit touchdowns. He was top 10 in receiving yards, top 10 in receptions. And then, it takes a tremendous amount of stamina and conditioning in order to do that. And he never left the field. The field. Sometimes these players, the players that we saw previously were put into specialty packages in order for them to succeed. He was a big part of the defense. He was a big part of the offense. And you saw how valuable that he was because remember last year when he got hit on the sideline by Blackburn and they lacerated his liver, you remember how much that affected the team going down the stretch. They lost almost 4 straight without him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they had no problem with Travis Hunter. It's going to be interesting to see what they draft him as. Or is he going to go as a corner or is he going to be a receiver? That's the question. Because I don't think that these NFL owners or these coaches want you playing both ways. I think that's out of the question. But it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. But I think that was a beautiful thing, man, to see a player that just never left the field. True Iron Man type football. That's the thing about it. We haven't seen guys, the Iron Man that never leaves the field. We haven't seen that in ages. We ain't seen that since the 60s. Last time we seen guys who in football, they could work both sides of the ball. Paul Hornung won the award. So let's embrace. I know that the Colorado program is loud, but Travis Hunter's not. So look at what the player is doing. If you embrace old school football, then guess what? Travis Hunter was the epitome of that because he was the Iron Man. He was similar to a Sammy Barr and a Jim Thorpe, a Paul Hornung, even a Deion Sanders. He was similar to all those guys who never left the field. So embrace that. You can't say you love old school pure football and then when somebody does the old school pure football that we know and love that was back in the 50s and 60s and the 70s, then we want to criticize it because it's loud. Let's not act like that a lot of the steel curtain Pittsburgh Steelers wasn't loud as well. Mel Blount comes to mind.
And to your point, champ, you talked about Deion Sanders. You even made a compelling argument that his son Shador Sanders got snubbed because he was putting up great numbers as well. You thought he belonged in the Heisman conversation as well, and rightfully so. And I just think with Travis Hunter, man, he deserved it. Shout out to our guy Trent. We all respect and admire Trent's work, knows his college football, NFL football. Please go like and subscribe to his podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, got a lot of great content. But he talked about and he mentioned all the things that you mentioned too. You eloquated perfectly stated, champ. You talked about the top 5 numbers that he had in touchdowns, receptions, yards. You talked about all the awards that he won, the Ronnie Lott Award, the Bilikinoff Award. He has that, and of course, he's going to win the Heisman. And plus, Colorado even super exceeded expectations. They were competing. So with Ginty, I don't have a problem if Ginty won the Heisman, but you can't go wrong with Travis Hunter. It's kind of like what you want for breakfast. You want pancakes, you want waffles. You want bacon, you want sausage. You want Cinnamon Toast Crunch, or you want Lucky Charms. So you can't go wrong with either way. It's like, or for dinner, you want steak, you want lobster. You want pumpkin pie or you want sweet potato pie. It depends on what type of style, what type of thing you're going for. That was the type of decision that you were going to have to make. But hey, listen, I ain't got no problem with Travis Hunter winning the Heisman. And plus, Travis Hunter, I don't know if you feel comfortable with me bringing up, champ, but I must. He's been getting a lot of flack lately because of the situation with him and his fiance. And we had a conversation about it. And in all seriousness, champ, I hope it doesn't impact his draft stock. Because I told you about the situation with Jeff Ireland. For those who may not know, he was the former NFL GM of the Miami Dolphins. He got into some backlash, and rightfully so, because he asked an inappropriate question about Dez Bryant at the time before he was drafted to the Dallas Cowboys. But you told me, champ, and you informed me that Prime is going to be there. Because unlike the rest of them, he has a mentor in Deion Sanders. But I think with Travis Hunter, he's well deserving of the Heisman. And you mentioned the injury with Blackburn. Blackburn got a lot of criticism, a lot of heat, but Travis Hunter took it like a champ. He didn't have a problem with it at all. He was willing to allow to talk to him and stuff like that. So it's because of Deion and his aura. If Deion wasn't a polarizing figure, if Deion didn't have the same attitude, then perhaps Travis Hunter would have easily won the Heisman. He won the Heisman, but I believe it would have been like a no-brainer had not been for Deion Sanders being his head coach.
I believe so too. And the thing is this, we don't want to acknowledge certain things, but the thing is, Curt Cignetti, who's one hell of a coach, came from James Madison University, who is now coaching in the college football playoffs against a hell of a Notre Dame team. Coach Cignetti's the same way. When he came to his first press conference, he said, all I do is win, and you will see me win. And it's that bit of arrogance, that bit of air. And you're not successful in any business, especially with coaching and dealing with these huge personalities without being arrogant to a certain extent. So my thing is, the whole Deion bravado is not something we haven't seen before. We saw it at the University of Miami with Jimmy Johnson. We saw it at Florida State when Bobby Bowden was the coach. We've seen a lot of, bravado as far as head coaching is concerned. Like I said, we see it today with Coach Cignetti. The thing is this, Deion was that way when he was a pro and it leaked over into coaching. And it's just like I said, it's college football. Everybody's trying to hold on to tradition and everything of that nature. And like I said, when you have a huge bravado, it's not, always welcome among traditionalists and purists. especially when everybody's a huge fan of the SEC. As far as what you said about Travis Hunter and, his relationships, I don't, like I said, the conversation that we had, I don't think that's going to affect this draft stock at all. My thing is, not only is Deion going to be there, it's like this. I don't think outside of your parents and stuff like that, I don't think your personal relationships gets in the way. If you really, because I'm trying to put this in a way that doesn't come off as brusque, because if you really look at the NFL right now, a lot of sports, there's a lot of guys and a lot of tumultuous relationships at this point, but that didn't affect their draft status or their contracts unless they got in trouble. When you look at, a whole lot of guys, yes, they had some troubling relationship, but unless it ended in certain incidents, DV, things of that nature, it really did not affect their draft status at a certain point or their new contract. So I don't think that's going to affect them at all because, like I said, he'll have Deion there in order to, kind of regulate a little bit of things that he's asked and things of that nature. And, the thing is, Deion, people don't like to remember this, but Deion used to get criticized a lot the same way when he was with his ex-wife. So, because he took her everywhere with the team. He traveled with the team in Atlanta. You remember the stories of BRF because, Deion Sanders' ex-wife was all on the team playing and everything of that nature. So he used to get criticized for that. But the thing is, I don't think that's going to affect this draft status. As long as Travis Hunter, is careful about what he does and make sure that things lead into incidents, which I don't think he will. I think he's a pretty smart guy. I think I know he's a pretty smart guy. He has a 4.0 in school. So he's a very smart guy, very articulate young man. I don't think it's going to lead to any incidents that he can't control. It's like I said, a lot of these guys, a lot of people don't realize this. We are in the age of look at me. Everybody no matter how visible one person is, the person right beside you wants to be just as seen. And that's the age that we live in. And guess what? Unfortunately, this is the age of social media. And the thing is, they're young, man. Let them kids be young. They're young. They're young, man. They just too young. I know I sound like the old man. I know I sound like my father, but he's a young kid, man.
You got one thing, champ, on why Prime is easy to help out Travis Hunter. Remember, he did have Brittany Renner come speak for the Colorado football team.
Yes, he did.
Am I lying?
Yeah, you ain't, but yeah, old Brittany, yeah. But yeah, I mean, but like I said, you just gotta my only advice to that young man right now, I'm not gonna be this sensational type. You need to be mindful and make sure you make the correct decision. Because the thing is, and I hate to say it like this, but there's only one way to put it. Don't let 30 seconds of emotion cost you an $100 million contract.
Hey, we saw that with Antonio Brown.
Yeah, that's a prime example of it.
BRF, is there anything you want to add on before we move on to the next topic?
I feel like I don't think that situation with him and his fiance, if the NFL, I mean, I get character issues and all that stuff, but honestly, if they were to let that play at all in his draft stock, they all need to be slapped on sight. I mean, that's just how I feel. I mean, the tape tells you everything you need to know about Travis Hunter. The tape tells you everything you need to know. You go off of that, and then from there, you determine where you feel like he should rank as far as like the best draft prospects coming up. And I feel like he's right up there, top 5, top 10. I feel like he's definitely up there. So I mean, just let the game film, let the tape speak for itself, and go from there. I don't know. I feel like some things are warranted when it's talking about a person's character, but I mean, okay, lady been running her mouth a little bit. Okay, big deal. You move on, you keep it pushing. It ain't that big a deal. Let the tape speak for Travis Hunter. Don't let that gauge any of your thinking as far as like what type of person you think he is. Because I honestly don't think the guy he is. I don't think he really lets that affect him at all. So worry about the game film and worry about what you see on the tape and just go from there.
All right. Appreciate that, fellas. Let me get into these super chats real quick. Dwayne Coleman, appreciate you, Dwayne Coleman. I'm a Ravens fan, and I'm glad we got rid of Deontay Johnson. And also, shout out to my good friend on IG, True to King TV. Please go check him out on YouTube. Also, please go check him out on FYF Sports Debates. So please go check him out on that, man. Does a lot of things. He knows his basketball, knows his football, and knows his wrestling as well. So please give a salute to him. But fellas, let's speak more about college football. Mike Vick. He is now the new head coach of Norfolk State University and HBCU in the state of Virginia. This is big, man, for HBCUs. I'm happy for him, for Mike Vick, because he is one of the most prominent athletes in the state of Virginia. There's him, there's Allen Iverson, there's a lot of other, and also he's revered because of, and you know this, undisputed world champion BRF, during your days in Atlanta, the Michael Vick experience. That was fun. That was electric to watch, because to see what he was going to do, to see what type of play he was going to come up with. My favorite play of Mike Vick has to be the Minneapolis game, in which he ran it in for the touchdown in overtime, man. That was my favorite Mike Vick play. And also it's great for the young kids, because he's going to be able to mentor them. We all know Mike Vick's issues in the past. We don't need to bring that up. We already know. But I think if anyone could be a mentor on and off the field, why not Michael Vick? He's done a lot of great things since his departure from prison. No off the field issues, none. If you're talking about an epitome of rehabilitation, look at Michael Vick. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for, because there has to be life after football. I give a lot of credit to Tony Dungy as well, because he even spent some time with Michael Vick in prison and tried to help rehabilitate his career and bring him back into the NFL. I also give a lot of credit to the Philadelphia Eagles organization, because they picked him up in 2009. Jeffrey Lurie, the owner, Andy Reid, the head coach. Hey, one of the reasons why Andy Reid is so revered, not only he is a great offensive minded, he's known for giving second chances. I also give a lot of credit to Donovan McNabb as well, becoming like a big brother, a mentor to Mike Vick. And I just give credit to Michael Vick, man. Shannon Sharp said it best. He said it on Undisputed before. The greatest apology is change behavior. And Michael Vick has proven that. And I'm really happy for him. I hope he capitalizes on this opportunity. Who knows what he's going to do? Could he take the next approach like Deion? Only time will tell. But I think this is huge for HBCUs to have a prominent figure like Mike Vick, and for him to be in the state of Virginia. So this is big, man. This is real big. Champ, what are your thoughts?
I love it. I love it, man. Look, I don't think huge shout out. Huge shout out, because I don't think these historically black colleges get enough credit, because a lot of these first-time head coaches who were NFL players got their big break in head coaching thanks to HBCUs. When you think about the coach of Morehouse, I think the coach of Morehouse is Terrence Mathis up there in Morehouse. Eddie George, he the head coach of Tennessee State. Just won Coach of the Year. Now, and those guys didn't have a lot of coaching experience. Those guys were just cutting teeth in coaching. No assistant, graduate assistant, just pure coaching. And now Eddie George is Coach of the Year, just like I said. So big shout out to HBCUs giving a lot of these coaches, their big break in college football in order to cut their teeth, give them first-time head coaching jobs. I love it because of this. Number one, he's familiar with the community. It's in his community. Norfolk is in his community. So if anybody can show you how to stay on the straight and narrow path and how, if you were to veer off of it, to go back on the straight and narrow, it would be Mike Vick. And you got to take into consideration, he's in Virginia. He's a legend there.
Revered.
He's a legend there. So these young men who want to play football, who have seen him play in Atlanta, who have seen him play in Philly, who have seen him play in the house that he built in Virginia Tech, they've seen that. So they know that they're in good hands when it comes to them. And the thing is this, I hope that much like with Deion, it brings a lot more attention to the HBCUs. I hope that a lot of these NFL coaches that are coaching, I hope that it brings so much attention to HBCUs. Because quiet as it's kept, let's just be real, almost 20% of the Pro Football Hall of Fame came from HBCUs, including two of the greatest of all time in Jerry Rice and Walter Payton.
Mm-hmm.
They come from the major colleges. They came from HBCUs. So when you look at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, a lot of those guys are from HBCUs, including the great John Stallworth, who won 4 Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of these colleges, these historically black colleges, they put Hall of Famers in the NFL. Deacon Jones, just to name a few. They've put guys in the Hall of Fame. So I think it's great. I hope that it brings much more attention. And I hope that one day that it can be normalized, that not only are we celebrating Division I, all of these powerhouses in college football, I hope that it becomes normalized that we are, because back in the day, remember BET used to put on the HBCU games.
Oh yeah, that was great back in them days.
Yes, they used to put on the HBCU games. And ironically, the Tuskegee Morehouse game, what did they come to every year? Right here in Columbus, Georgia. So right before they moved it. So yes, that I cannot wait till the day where it's normalized so that we can not only celebrate the major programs, but the college programs that help pave the way so a lot of these Hall of Famers can go to the NFL. Without the HBCUs, you don't see a lot of these superstar players in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, if you want me to be honest with you. So, hey, I'm happy for these HBCUs. Let's put them back on the map. Let's make it normalize. Let's normalize it not only to celebrate these big, huge college programs, but the historically black colleges who are not necessarily getting all of the notoriety that they need. And look, let's bring some things back to the community, man, because, hey, that's one thing that we need right now is each other and the community. And I think Mike Vick, being in the community where he came from, everybody, not only him teaching them, but them learning from him. Somebody can teach you all they want to, whether you learn it is up to you. But I cannot wait to see how he turns what he turns that program into, even if it's a sub 500 program, because the wins and losses don't always tell the story. Graduation rate, job rate, things like that, that tells the story as well. The field don't always tell the story. That graduation rate, getting these guys jobs, put these guys in programs so they can get a job, because not everybody's going to go to the NFL. Only 10% of the population makes it to the NFL. Let's just keep it real. So graduation rate, let's just see what he's going to do. I'm excited. I think that he has the star power to put this program on the map, man. I can't wait to see it. I hope that ESPN pays Norfolk State a visit this year with the great Michael Vick, man. And thank you for the members that you gave us down here, man. So I'm happy for Michael Vick and the HBCUs, bro.
BRF.
I'm not gonna lie, I was actually kind of shocked when I first heard the news because this is what I say. One of the most underrated aspects about Michael Vick's game when he played was his IQ. Homeboy's hella smart. Homeboy know how to read defenses. Homeboy, he know how to do it. It's just that, when he was in Atlanta, it's just, certain things kind of got a hold to him and he didn't put his full focus into it. And he talks about it all the time. He admits it that he didn't put the effort he should have in Atlanta. And you also got to think of how offensively dominant he was in Atlanta, even though, he didn't put up the passing yards like that, but his sheer impact offensively, just from 01 to 06, people forget just how important and valuable he was to the Falcons offense those years. And like I said, one of his most underrated aspects of his game is his IQ and how smart he is in understanding football and understanding defense. Michael Vick is extremely smart and talks the game with the best of them. You see him do Fox NFL kickoff every Sunday. You see him on the analyst desk. He knows football. He gets it. He understands the game. And seeing him with an opportunity like this, I can't help but root for him. I can't help but root for him because he's going to bring something. He's going to bring, Deion came into Colorado. He's going to bring he's got the flamboyance. He's got the arrogance. He's got the charisma. He's got the cockiness. He's going to talk. Michael Vick, to me, is a whole different side of confidence and charisma as opposed to Deion Sanders, because Michael Vick was never really the talker like that. Michael Vick was one of those, he just went out and did it. He didn't need to talk your head off about what he was going to do. He just presented his game out onto the field and say, okay, if you can stop it, stop it. If not, I'm going to destroy you. He didn't have to come out and vocalize it. He just did it. And the defenses he victimized during his playing days was like a who's who. It's like a who's who. Like he ran through some really good defenses. Even in the games like where I compare Pittsburgh to Lamar Jackson as Tampa to Mike Vick was in those days, he still got his. He didn't have the greatest of games against Tampa, but he still took his pound of flesh with him in those games. I'm happy for him from the standpoint that he's bringing. I feel like he's going to succeed at Norfolk State. I feel like his name, his cachet, he's gonna warrant some talent to come in, because I feel like a lot of the players nowadays, especially the quarterbacks, they watch Mike, they watch Cam, they watch Lamar, to a lesser extent, they watch Donovan. They watch this generation of the running quarterback, and let's just keep it 100. The black quarterback. Let's just keep it a buck. They watched these guys play. They saw the evolution of the game. And I feel like Michael Vick, with his IQ, is going to bring that to this coaching position, and his name alone. I feel like he's going to do good. I feel like he's going to bring in quality talent to help get Norfolk State going. And I
he
mean,
has the connections too.
Exactly. Of course, he's got a connection. He's already said he's going to come in. He's going to bring a veteran staff to help him grow in this position as being a first-time head coach. He's gonna have a strong brain trust there as far as a coaching staff to help him move in the right direction and get this program up and running. He's not going to be dumb when it comes to this. He knows this. He knows this is an opportunity of a lifetime for him, and he wants to make the most of it. And he's going to he's going to find the right guys there to come in to help him, build Norfolk State into a really, really good HBCU. He's coming in to do it, and I'm definitely hoping, and I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him to do this, because I tell you what. It's like I said, it's going to be a whole new experience with Michael Vick as a head coach. I'm ready to see where it goes. I want him to succeed. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him every step of the way, and I'm proud of him the way he's rehabilitated his image, just rehabilitated who he was, like the dog fighting and serving the time and paying his debt to society, and now just seeing where he is, just you can't help but root for him. So shout out to Mike, all the best. Go to Norfolk State, do your thing, and show him that you are very capable of handling this job. Because I definitely think he's capable of having this job, and I think he's going to do a good job.
I think so too. And in Virginia, him, Allen Iverson. People forgotten Allen Iverson used to play high school football though back then as a quarterback, man. But I think Michael Vick will be just fine. This is a huge win. He's going to be also great, not only on the field, but also off the field, especially helping them a lot. It's helping them young kids, trying to teach them how to handle the fame and the fortune. Because y'all noticed in Atlanta, Michael Vick at the time, he was the highest paid player in the NFL when he was with the Atlanta Falcons. And to resurrect his career, and I give him a lot of kudos and just give him a lot of credit just for rehabilitating his life, man. And look, he's stepping in. He's replacing Dawson Odoms. They fired him back in November after a 4-8 season. Reading an article here from ESPN, Spartans have made one appearance in the FCS playoffs, losing in the first round to in-state rival Old Dominion back in 2011. Before accepting the Norfolk State job, Vic also spoke to a Sacramento State about its open head coaching position, but I think he chose it just to stay home. Just to stay home. Nothing better than to coach in your home state and to have the people support you and root for you through thick and thin. Really happy for Michael Vick. Really happy for HBCUs. And to your point, Champ, I would love to see ESPN2 cover a football game just to see Michael Vick coach a team because I want to see how he is pre-game, in the locker room, post-game, how he does press conferences, the types of things that he can give to the team. And you talked about BRF with Mike Vick's personality compared to Deion's. People forget back in them days, Michael Vick, he was like the Allen Iverson of the NFL. He was kind of like in some ways like the Allen Iverson of the NFL because of his style and the personality. Remember when he was in that TI video? Remember how he was ATL? He represented ATL back then, man, and ATL still loves him to this day, man.
Yes, we do, man. Look, that was I was merely a child. I was merely a child when Mike Vick came to Atlanta, man, and that was it was so epic to see that, man. I mean, it was very epic to see that, man. I mean, you've seen a lot of quarterbacks before, but never before in history was he the fastest guy on the field. And look, big ups to another Georgian who helped Mike Vick early in his career, man. Dan Reeves. Dan Reeves, fresh out of Americus, Georgia. Dan Reeves, because I believe wholeheartedly if Dan Reeves would have stayed the coach, a lot of the stuff that happened with Vic wouldn't have happened. I think that, although, because Dan Reeves held Vic accountable, he will tell you that. When Jim Moore Jr. became the coach, it wasn't so much. But he used to call him in meetings every single day. What did you learn? And I'll never forget his favorite play of all time is 38 pass from Dan Reeves' playbook, where the Z receivers hit the corners. So big ups to Dan Reeves who helped Michael Vick early in his career, man, because I think if Dan Reeves would have stayed his coach, you would have seen a lot more. We've seen a lot of good productions, but we would have seen even greater because guess what? There's nothing like that person. When you have a hell of a lot of ability, and I'm guilty of this as well, a lot of us are guilty of this. When you when you know what you know, sometimes that little bit of cockiness kicks in. And you have to have those people that say, and break and snatch you back to earth and say, hey, you still got a lot to learn. And I think Dan Reeves did that. So big ups to Dan Reeves for that. But that during that time in Atlanta, man, that was special, man. To win at Minnesota, like you said earlier. I mean, have the guys running into each other. To go on the road at Lambeau Field and beat Brett Favre for the first time in history at Lambeau Field, the Packers lost their home game at the age of 23. I mean, being the first quarterback to rush for over 1,000 yards, that was special, man. Then, us going to the NFC Championship against Philadelphia may have not been a good game, but it was a highlight, man. That was the crescendo of everything with Mike Vick here. So, man, look, that was
of course, his greatest game, unfortunately for me, Monday Night Football against Washington.
Yeah, that was deadly. That was deadly. I mean, if we would have had that, like I said, that's how come Dan Reeves, the whole Dan Reeves factor, because I think he was heading to that when he had Dan Reeves, not so much with Jim Mora. But man, that was a special time. That was a special time. Shout out to the great Mike Vick, man. Look, coach these young men up, man. You may not have the coaching experience, but you have the life experience. You may not have the coaching experience as far as from a major college program, but you did coach the minor league Atlanta team. We know you coached that team, the minor league Atlanta team, the Atlanta Falcons team. We know you coached that team, but we know you don't have the experience with coaching per se on the major college level. But with life experience, he has that. And with this day and age of branding and a lot of distractions that comes along and the trappings of success with football and among a lot of other things, there's no other person that can help a young man deal with that than a Michael Vick, because he will be able to tell a quarterback that was just like him, that he sees himself inside of, and he can say, hey man, look man, you messing up. I did the same thing you was doing. And not only, and versus, and I hate to put it this way, versus when an old man like me would tell somebody something, hey man, I've been where you are. Mike Vick can literally say, hey bro, I've been where you are, and it's darn documented. I've been where you are. Mm-hmm. It's documented. So I'm not just telling you a sad song and a slow drive just so you can listen to me as an old man. I'm telling you the mistakes that I made and what caused me to get put on paperwork. So it's not just something that somebody's telling you, this is a mistake that I made. No, this is a documented mistake that I made. I was too busy out here partying. That's the reason why I couldn't concentrate. I was too busy being in music videos. That's the reason why I couldn't concentrate. I was too busy trying to enjoy the trappings of success rather than being the best football player I could in the great city of Atlanta. So that's why it didn't work out there. The best way, and like I said, these young men are impressionable. Like I said, most of them are coming into the HBCU 17, 18, 19 years old. And there's no better time that you need mentors than that age. Because you're not a teenager. You're not an adult. You're not a kid. In one set, just throw everything out of rack. All it takes is one bad day. And a Michael Vick is living proof is that all it takes.
Got you. All right, champ. Let's talk about some NBA. By any chance, did you watch the NBA Cup tournament between the Milwaukee Bucks and Oklahoma City Thunder?
You mean the Christmas tournament? Yeah, I watched the Christmas tournament.
Milwaukee Bucks won that one. Giannis Antetokounmpo had a triple-double, won the MVP. What are your thoughts about that, man? And what does this say about the Milwaukee Bucks? What does this also say about Giannis's legacy? And do you still have your reservations about them?
It doesn't really say anything. Honestly, we saw the Lakers do the same thing last year. It doesn't really say anything. Giannis had a good game. You got some hardware, but it's not the hardware. And the thing is, Giannis submitted his legacy when he won for the Milwaukee Bucks during his first title run. That was his legacy. That means more than any title that anybody else could win. You won in a small market with no other top 25 player on your team.
First time since 1971 since they won a championship, I think, with Kareem.
Yes.
Yep.
And back then, Kareem wasn't even named Kareem. His name was Lou Alcindor.
Cinder.
That's how long ago that was. So he already proved everything. As far as the tournament, it's good to watch. But the thing is, we all know that's a ratings grab. It's a ratings grab. It's something that the NBA is pulling out of its bag of tricks, its parlor tricks, I will say, in the great words of my father, one of its parlor tricks to try to make us watch a little bit because the game's a little bit more watered down. Like I said, the Lakers did the same thing last year. It's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing after the All-Star break that's coming up in about 6 weeks. But the play-in, it's a good thing to have, but it's like considering what the Lakers did last year and you have the same coach on your staff from that Laker team, not to mention Doc Rivers, who's known for giving up huge leads in playoffs and series at this point. It's like you won this Christmas tournament, the play-in, but what are you going to do in the first round? How are you going to get yourself put in position at a certain point? Because at this point, like I said, it's just a ratings grab and everybody know it is. But big ups to Giannis because, hey, he's playing pretty well. He's been playing pretty well all season. Can't help to be happy for a guy named Dame Lillard for getting some type of hardware, for him to win the play-in and experience some form of winning, some form of winning is amazing within itself. But I really want to see what you're going to do in the playoffs when you have to play the Boston Celtics, when you have to play, some of these great teams that you're going to have to play down the stretch. As far as the Christmas tournament, the play-in is concerned, it's good, but all right. The Lakers did the same thing last year. Moving on, and you saw where they ended. They ended up going nowhere fast. So let's hope that Doc Rivers don't put them on that road because there was a lot of foreshadowing during the season before the season even started. Because remember what Giannis said at the beginning of the season. If I don't win this year, I feel like I might get traded. Now, I don't think there's anybody crazy enough in order to trade Giannis, especially him being in his prime. So you got to ask yourself, was that a speculation or a message?
Simply a message.
So you got to ask yourself.
I mean, think about it, champ. Giannis, people would die right now to try to get their hands on Giannis as opposed to Zion, unfortunately.
I trade for him over Captain Crunch any day. So that's how it is. But look, Christmas tournament, good job. You won the play-in, but much like with the Lakers last year, okay.
All right, BRF. What are your thoughts?
Well, as hold on, come in real quick. As I'm getting a visit from the Munchkin right here.
Hi. Hi.
All right. My thoughts are, I mean, it's there. It's there. I mean, really good performance from Milwaukee. Like they're kind of, I give it to them for turning their season around. I mean, good God, they started 2-8. They started 2-8, and I just thought like, oh God, on the path they're on right now, they're going to have to blow this up. But they've turned it around. I mean, just don't hang a banner like the Lakers did. That's all I ask. Don't hang a banner. Don't hang a banner like the Lakers did. Don't do that. Don't do that. Put some type of honorable mention somewhere. Please, God, no, don't do it. Just don't do it. I promise. It's okay. You got it done. Kudos. Because I feel like the best performing team of that playoffs was the Atlanta Hawks, but I digress. That's not here nor there. But anyway, I think what this shows is that Giannis and Dame are going to be very, very, very dangerous later in the season, going into the playoffs. I mean, they're starting to master the pick and roll, which was the one thing when they acquired Dame. I thought that was going to really be the thing to really shoot that offense off, was their ability to pick and roll off each other, and you kind of see it is really starting to take an effect, and it's something that I want to see it grow and progress as the year goes by, and I also want to see their depth as far as who steps up. Because I'm sorry, Bobby Portis cannot continually be the only dude off the bench giving you something. He can't. And you're seeing a little bit of Andre Jackson here. You're seeing a little bit of AJ Green there. You're seeing some Gary Trent Jr. You're seeing little bits of it. You're seeing a little bit here, a little bit there. I still feel like they need Chris Middleton to be that third guy. And he's got to stay on the court. But if Chris Middleton can stay on that court and give him some contribution, I mean, we know what Chris Middleton's ceiling is. He's an all-star. His ceiling he's an all-star. Before the injuries, we were talking about him and Giannis being one of the most dangerous duos in the league before he got hurt. So it's mainly him just staying on the court and giving a contribution to this team, and Doc Rivers not messing it up. I mean, just Doc Rivers is just Doc Rivers for me is like one of the biggest coaching enigmas in the history of the sport, because he comes into the league, wins a championship early with the Boston Celtics. Right. Did he? I mean, yes, it was the KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen Celtics. I mean, I get that, but he still got it done. They still got it done, and it's just like blown lead there, and not just lead, like 3-1 leads. I mean, like should have clinched series and just blown leads, and Joe just. Like,
do we need to remind folks? Do we mean to remind folks the Sixers, because they had a 3-2 lead in 2023 against the Celtics, and then of course against your Hawks, BRF, the Ben Simmons debacle, which you are enjoying.
Bro, let me tell you something. 2021, that was special, and I remember where I was. Because it's funny because I'm talking about we're going on a family trip next week. We took a trip at that time. We took a trip out to Chattanooga. We went out to the family went out to Tennessee, and while the playoffs were going at the time, and we're sitting in the hotel room, and I watched what game was it that I watched? I watched Game 6. I watched Game 6. No. Yeah, I watched Game 6, and then I was able to watch Game 7 as well. So believe you me when I say I laughed mighty hard when the Hawks put them out. But that's neither here nor there. I just want to see Doc Rivers stay out of his own way when it comes to coaching this team. You got Giannis, who's a top 5 player in the world. He's a top 5 player in the world. You got Dame, who is still one of the deadliest snipers in the league. and is having a really, really, really good bounce back year. Stay out your own way. Let these guys do their thing. And please, for the love of God, do better with your in-game adjustments, particularly second half adjustments. That has always been, I feel like that has always been the Achilles heel with Doc Rivers. Is being able to adjust on the fly in terms of like adjusting for the second half. I feel like that's always been his pet peeve. But I feel like he's got guys there that understand and know how to get it done. He just got to stay out of his own way when it comes to coaching. Do I still feel like the Celtics are the team to beat? Absolutely. Do I feel like the Knicks are the second best team in the East? Absolutely, because Karl Anthony Towns has been an absolute juggernaut for the New York Knicks this season. But do I think the Milwaukee Bucks can make a claim? It's all about Doc Rivers and his coaching, I feel, as far as getting these players in the right situation to be able to make plays and win games, because I do feel like they're going to continue to win games. But I feel like Doc Rivers can be the Achilles heel if he does not improve his in-game adjustments. He's got to really show something this year if the Milwaukee Bucks legitimately want to win a championship this year.
Well, I think Boston, they're going to repeat and get back to the finals. I don't know if they're going to win it, but they're going back to the finals because when I look at the New York Knicks, yes, Karl Anthony Towns has been a big move for them. But what happens come postseason time, though? And the Knicks haven't been playing good enough defense. And then you look at and then you just look at Milwaukee Bucks, man. I said it before. Doc Rivers has gotten more opportunities than the Kardashians have gotten with men. When it's all said and done, even if he gets fired from Milwaukee, he's going to find another opportunity. Just like a Kardashian is going to find another opportunity to get their hands on some type of man, whether NFL, NBA, modeling, whatever the case may be. Doc Rivers is going to be just fine. But Doc Rivers is maxed out. This is as far as he can go. So it's nice that they won the tournament, but to your point, champ, and it may sound petty because, again, people just look at you as a Lakers fan. You won the tournament, but how far it got you into the playoffs? Lost in 5 to the Denver Nuggets. So I think happy for them that they won, but now we got to get back to business. But speaking of getting to business, and I'm glad y'all here, the Atlanta Falcons finally have made the decision to bench Kirk Cousins in favor of Michael Penix Jr. I am not at all shocked with the decision because of Kirk Cousins' play. I think like the first 9 games of the season, Kirk Cousins had 17 touchdowns to 7 interceptions.
Correct.
And then these last couple of games before Monday night against Vegas, 0 touchdowns, but 8 interceptions. So Kirk Cousins, look, we appreciate Kirk Cousins. It's really devastating for Atlanta, for you BRF, for you champ, and Atlanta fans, because at one point you were 6-3. Kirk Cousins at one point was looking like the favorite for comeback player of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fell off a cliff. Folded like a lawn chair. So now for Atlanta, you got to go with Michael Penix Jr., who you drafted with the 8th overall pick. BRF didn't mind at the time. He didn't mind the Michael Penix decision. I know Undisputed World Champ had a problem with it because he wanted Dallas Turner from Alabama because he wanted to amp up the defense. So Michael Penix Jr., they seem ready to go forward with this kid. They want to do this because they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. Because again, it's still possible for them to win the NFC South. Tampa is now leading the NFC South, and Baker Mayfield is still trying to prove people. All this talk about Kirk Cousins, all this talk about Atlanta. Have y'all forgotten we won the division? And if people forgotten how good of a quarterback that I am, Cleveland, you made a huge mistake letting go of Baker by going with Deshaun Watson, and look how that turned out for you. But with Atlanta, they're gonna move on with Kirk Cousins now. If they release Kirk Cousins, there's $65 million in dead money. However, if they trade him, $38 million in dead money. So that's a lot of money. Either way, I mean, you're going to have to trade him because, again, that's practically half. You going to cut him and give up $65 million? Remember, champ, you went through quarterback money with Matt Ryan at one point. So, BRF, I'm going to let you go first. What were your thoughts about the Falcons finally benching Kirk Cousins, going with Michael Penix Jr.? Do you think Michael Penix Jr. gives you the best chance for you to make the playoffs?
If Zach Robinson opens up this offense to Michael Penix Jr.'s offensive skill set and his physical attributes, yes. He gives the Atlanta Falcons the best chance to win out and make the playoffs, because Michael Penix Jr.'s physical attributes allow Zach Robinson to fully run this offense the way he wants to run this offense. And it's not just the ability to throw from the pocket, which we know that's Michael Penix Jr.'s base. That's what he wants to do. He wants to sling it. He's got a sniper rifle. He's got a cannon of a left arm. He wants to stand behind an offensive line and sling it. But Michael Penix Jr. is also a 4'6", 40 guy. He's an athletic guy. He gives you the ability to run bootlegs, to RPO, to do things that Kirk Cousins just was not going to allow you to do. And Zach Robinson even said it himself. We talked about it last night. Zach Robinson had to disguise some things to mask Kirk Cousins turning the ball over and his limitations. He hasn't been able to run the full offense like he wants to. He's going to be able to with Michael Penix Jr. And it's about him building that rapport with a Drake London, with a Darnell Mooney, with a Ray McCloud, with a Kyle Pitts. His rapport and his chemistry with Kyle Pitts, in my opinion, is going to make or break the rest of the season. If Kyle Pitts wakes up and goes back to what he was doing during that Falcons winning streak, where he went like 26 for 298 and 3 scores in that 4-game stretch when they were just lighting everybody up. If he gets back to that, they go 10-7. They go 10-7 because there's not a defense left that can handle what this offense is going to bring if Michael Penix and Kyle Pitts get on the same page. Look, Drake London is Drake London. I'm not worried about Drake London. Drake London's having a breakout year. He's doing the thing. I'm not worried about Drake. And honestly, I feel like Kirk Cousins had started to get away from Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney's speed with Michael Penix's arm is going to make for a lot of fun on deep balls. It's going to be a lot of fun watching them connect on deep passes. And Bijan and Tyler Algier, not worried about them two at all. In my opinion, second best running back tandem in the league behind David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm not worried about them at all. They're gonna do the thing. They're gonna do it. I'm not worried about them at all. I want to see Zach Robinson. I want to see him get creative with Michael Penix Jr. at the helm. I want to see him get creative. I want to see him fully open this offense up. Allow Michael Penix just to be him. You know he's a rookie. He's coming in. This is a first start. What we probably going to end up seeing, he's going to simplify the offense. We're going to see simplified reads for him, make it easier on him. But one thing I did notice, and particularly in that preseason game where he played against the Miami Dolphins, he already has an understanding of how to go through his progressions. He knows how to go to progressions. He's not a one read lock and go. You're gonna see a good bit of that in his first starter, I feel, in order to simplify it for him. But I feel like Michael Penix has the IQ and has the pocket presence and the ability to stand in there and be able to go through his keys and go through his reads and make the right decision. So I definitely think making this move was the right move. And I also understand people like, well, me and Flash, I love Flash to death. But it's like I get where he's coming from. It's like, well, and I think another one, shout out to my boy, shout out to the homie Kieran. He kind of said it too. The biggest complaint that people had with the move of drafting Michael Penix is giving Kirk Cousins all that money and then drafting him 8. And I get it. But I also look at it from the standpoint of like, you don't get him if you don't make that pick. You don't. I feel like you don't. Like, I seriously feel if Atlanta didn't draft him, Vegas was going to draft him. I honestly feel like the Vegas Raiders were going to draft him if Atlanta didn't. I mean, I understood it from the standpoint of they didn't want the quarterback room being what it's been the past 2 years, because ever since Matt Ryan was traded, because Arthur Blank played his trump card and wanted Mr. Satisfy You in Deshaun Watson. Yeah, I went there. Yes, I went there because he played his trump card and he wanted him. You forced the quarterback and Matt Ryan to have to go elsewhere, go to the Indianapolis Colts, and you kind of saw his career just basically like you knew he was done after that. And then it's been Marcus Mariota, it's been Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke. Trash on trash on trash. We've had trash play at the quarterback position since Matt Ryan left. You get Kirk Cousins, you pay him all that money the first 9 games, like, oh man, you're getting the return on investment. And then the last 5 games is like, well, we're kind of back to square one because Kirk Cousins has literally forgotten how to play the quarterback position. So you had to do something. And shout out to Raheem Morris for understanding, yeah, we're still trying to get to the playoffs. Michael Penix Jr. is not a play for next year move. They are still trying to win the division. They are still trying to make the playoffs. Michael Penix gives this team the best chance to win because I feel like Zach Robinson is truly going to be able to call the offense to the fullest extent of how he wants to call this offense. And the first half against the Giants is going to tell me a lot about how this offense is going to run for the rest of the season, because if they're crisp, if they're efficient, if they're putting points on the board, and not just points, but touchdowns, if they are scoring touchdowns early, this offense is going to be fun to watch for the rest of the season, because Zach Robinson is going to be able to dictate the tempo and make defense do what he wants them to do, trying to react to them, and they're not going to be able to do it. I am excited to see where it's going to go. Like, I do get people's, criticisms with the move at the time at the draft, but this is why you do it. And I know some people are like, well, if they were that high on them, why did you let them draft? Why didn't you just let them play from the jump? We don't know. Hey, sometimes it's better to sit and learn. And Champs talked about it a lot. Sometimes it's better to sit and learn and soak that in, and then when it's time to go, then you go. I don't fault the Falcons at all for letting him sit and letting him marinate a little bit for a little while and let him gain the knowledge. Let him see what Kirk Cousins is doing. Michael Penix talks about Kirk Cousins a lot, brags on Kirk Cousins, his leadership, his veteran, just his IQ. He brags on him a lot. That's what you want out of a rookie quarterback, understanding where you are and what you want to be. Kudos to Michael Penix for that. That's really why I'm most excited about this move, because I feel like he's already showing a maturity level beyond his years, which is why I'm really excited about this. And I knew this should have been done. Honestly, they should have put him in after that atrocious first half Kirk Cousins had against the Chargers. I feel like they should have put him in then. But you know what? He's in now. Now you see what you got. Now you see if you get the return on investment. And I'm excited. I think he's going to do well in his offense. I think he's going to do well with the skilled players around him. And I really feel the Falcons have a good shot of running the table and finishing 10-7. I had them finishing 10-7 from the jump anyway, and I think they got a real shot to do it with Michael Penix. He gives them the best chance to win.
Talk to me, champ.
How could I follow that? That was amazing. BRF, man, that you basically wrote the book to us and just handed it to us and signed it. Look, piggybacking on what BRF said, man, it was time. It was time. And look, he's coming in at the perfect time. The defense is on fire right now. They're forcing turnovers. They're getting sacked, something that we didn't do in the first half of the season. Bijan Robinson coming alive. Coming alive.
1,100.
1,100. Want to see, hey, next year we want to see you break that 1,800 set by the great Jamal Anderson, but I digress. But look, when you talk about good situations for a rookie quarterback to come into, this is one of the best ones. You have a good defense. You have two hell of a running backs. Second best tandem in the league, right behind Sonic and Knuckles. You have good receivers. You have a good tight end. You have a good offensive line. Got a good offensive coordinator, good head coach. You only got 3. In your last 3 games, the only one that's worth any consequence is Washington. That's when you got to keep. But the Panthers and the Giants, you can go in there, find your feeling, and get to where you need to be. So, hey, at the same time, I will stress this. Atlanta, remember one thing. This is a rookie. This is a rookie. Don't let him come in there and play one series and then you start complaining about what you got. Because in the great words of T.I. Shawty, look what you had. 1 interception, 1 touchdown, and 10 interceptions the last 4 games. 1 touchdown. And it got so bad to the point where you see that Zach Robinson and Coach Morris, they just stopped trusting him. Because the second half of that Raiders game, they ran Bijan and Tyler Aguilar till their tongues was hanging out. They just ran them like, okay, just don't fumble the ball, just keep running. You saw it. So be patient, number 1. I think we can make the playoffs, number 2. I know we can make the playoffs. And like I said, show this young man some grace. Show him some grace. Hey, he's going to make mistakes if he makes any. Like I said, right now is the perfect time to make it because you got the Giants. They can't draw mud at this point on offense. And there's still a lot, although Bryce has been playing good, there's still questions about him as well. So as far as the offensive side of the ball. So be patient. I think we can get to those 2 games. The main challenge that I'm worried about is when we go up to the DMV, and play the watch PSP's commander. That's my main concern, to see him face off against Jaden Daniels. I think there's going to be a good showdown. I think it's going to be a hell of a showdown. 2, magnificent up-and-coming rookies, especially with Jaden Daniels having the year that he's having. But if we can run the table these 3 games, which I believe we can, I think it's going to be something special. But the thing is, man, look, show this young man some grace, and he gives us the best chance to win at this point. And offensive line, you got a rookie in there. The quarterback can't throw on his back. Protect this young man and make sure he got a clean jersey.
And also, too, I think will also help out Michael Penix Jr. Incorporate the running game. Get Bijan and Egler going. Because that, and also get him involved in the running game as well. To your point, we know he's athletic. He ran a 4.6 at the combine. So don't ask him to throw the football 30, 40 times. Despite the fact you have Drake London, Darnell Mooney, McLeod, and Kyle Pitts. Balance it out. Try to have him more balance. Don't ask too much on his plate. And eventually he'll be fine. It's against the Giants. I get it. This is his first game. He is starting in this game. But don't put too much on his plate. But you mentioned about leadership, BRF. Champ, I'm going to let you go first. Aaron Rodgers versus Ryan Clark. Aaron Rodgers has been having a lot to say. Now, no surprise, he's a weekly guest on Pat McAfee Show. He gets paid to be on Pat McAfee Show. He talked about experts, about, saying things in order to be relevant, and to which Ryan Clark took issue with, calling Aaron Rodgers a fraud, arrogant, and hypocritical. Aaron Rodgers responded a few days ago And then for some reason with Aaron, I don't know why, he brought up the vaccine situation, which I don't get with Aaron Rodgers. So Ryan Clark put out a video on X, formerly known as Twitter, explaining, basically he said, hold on, let me see. So on my computer a little bit. Basically, he said, I won't let Aaron Rodgers' vax smokescreen distract me from the stench of the tape. He's entitled to his opinion, but to say that you aren't concerned with what we say is a lie. I mean, it's the reason we are here. It's a continuation of his hypocrisy that started with criticizing ESPN analysts while being paid to be in ESPN. I analyze football and all things involved. Unfortunately, due to his on-field play and his commentary has been interesting than the film. By the way, I give my accolades as you asked. Next time, say the name so we know you meant it. Here's my take on it with Aaron Rodgers. This is no surprise with Aaron Rodgers. You good, BRF? Because no, it's all good. Don't worry about it, BRF. Don't worry about it. No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Don't worry about it, man. Here's my take on Aaron Rodgers. I'm not surprised at all with how the way he's acting. He's just once again showing you who he is. Arrogant, condescending, smug, above it all, entitled. Aaron, he's only criticizing you. Ryan Clark and other experts are only critiquing your play. They're just critiquing your play. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. That's why they're getting paid to do this job, to critique and analyze the game of football. Not talking about you from a personal standpoint or anything else. And besides, Aaron, it's no surprise, it's no secret. Back in your days in Green Bay, you weren't the greatest leader in the world. And the reason why Aaron said that is because he's heard some of the things that Shannon Sharpe has mentioned. Shannon Sharpe has called Aaron Rodgers arrogant, condescending, smug, above it all, because he's heard from former teammates, former players, people who've been in Green Bay, who've known Aaron Rodgers. Aaron, and the other thing with Aaron, you bring up the vax situation. Aaron. So when you bring up the vax situation, Aaron, why was that, Aaron? Is it because Ryan Clark, who admitted that he's vaccinated? Is it because people who are vaccinated, Aaron, what, they're dumb? They're not entitled to their opinion, to give their assessment on anything because you're unvaccinated? And Ryan Clark, if you saw the video, he called you slimy. Rightfully so. Now, everyone has used terms with Aaron Rodgers with the whole vaccine situation. He was deceitful, disingenuous. No. The dude lied. He flat out lied when a reporter asked him a question regarding his vaccination status. He was asked a question about his vaccination status, and he said, in his words, I'm immunized. That means you got the vaccine. Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, whatever. Come to find out, right before the Kansas City Chiefs game a few years ago, in which he was ruled out because of COVID, it was later discovered that you were unvaccinated, and the video of you saying I'm immunized resurfaced. Aaron, miss me with the vax situation because you lied. You lied. And you come across as smug, dismissive, arrogant, condescending. These things have been said about you in the past, Aaron, not to mention your conspiracy theories. You know, DeShone Kizer, a former teammate of you back in Green Bay, even he recalled you asking him, do you believe that if 9/11 did that happen? I'm not joking. No, champ, I'm not joking at all. Aaron Rodgers is known for all this conspiracy, all this crap, and all this stuff, man. And my thing is with Aaron, he's just being slick. He's just being arrogant, above it all, and he's trying to put down people, thinking, I'm above you. You're not on my level. Aaron, it contradicted himself because he is sensitive. He is aware to what people say about him. Well, if you don't care, why are you talking about it? Why are you talking about it on Pat McAfee's show? If it doesn't bother you so much, Aaron, why don't you focus on football, which is something you haven't really done so far since you've been with the Jets? You've been more interested in being a reality star than you are as a quarterback. And that's just the truth. And look, Aaron, I said it before, no doubt about it. First ballot Hall of Famer, one of the top 5 greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. But my God, man, as a leader, as a person, you just rub people the wrong way. So I'm with Ryan Clark on this one. And the reason why you also brought up, Aaron, about the vaccine status, because a lot of times I've heard you bring up woke mob, cancel culture, all this stuff. Nah, man, nobody trying to cancel you. You're not being canceled. We're just holding you accountable because the fact of the matter is, Aaron, you lied. You lied about your vaccination status. If you didn't want to get the vaccine, and I don't want to hear any comparisons between Aaron Rodgers and Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving decided not to get the vaccine. I don't agree with the decision, but I respect it. It's his choice at the end of the day. But Aaron, the fact of the matter is you flat out lied. You flat out lied. And to be so arrogant and so smug, it's an example of who you are, Aaron. And the things that people have said about you in the past, to quote you, champ, everybody ain't lying. Everybody ain't lying. If people have said about you, said this about you in the past, you've been this way, and still to this day, you are. You haven't changed. And it's been reported by ESPN's by The Athletic's Diana Rossini. You're interested in playing football again, but just not for New York. Hope that works out well for you. And I don't think you're going to Minnesota. Because again, you may pull off a Brett Favre, who knows? And speaking of which, of Brett Favre, you know, Aaron, I've been critical of Brett Favre with a lot of things off the football field, the welfare situation, and other things with his past. But as a leader, you're even a worse leader than Favre. It's just the truth. It's just the truth, man. And so, no, I don't have a problem with Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark is going to do his job, rightfully so. He's going to give his opinion, critiquing and analyzing football. If you can't handle that, Aaron, that perhaps tells you who you are. If it tells you how sensitive you really are. So that's all I got to say regarding that. I could add a little bit more, but I'm gonna let Champ take this one. What are your thoughts, man? I hope I didn't go all over the place.
No, you good. You done messed up, AA Ron. You done messed up. Number one, Aaron Rodgers. I will say this. If a guy like myself who didn't play pro football was criticizing you, you'll be well within your right to spew whatever you would like. But it's kind of different now because the thing is, unfortunately for a lot of you football players, you can't use what a lot of your predecessors did before you. You can't use against the media now. Well, he never played football. Bull jive now. Because now you have Hall of Famers and guys who won Super Bowls that are criticizing you now. And that's the beauty of it. Ryan Clark played for the Pittsburgh Steelers and faced you in the Super Bowl. Won a Super Bowl himself. Was a captain for the most storied franchise in NFL history. Shannon Sharpe as well. He's a Hall of Famer. Won 3 Super Bowls. 2 with the great John Elway. Another one with the great Ray Lewis. So that's what I love about today's game. See, back in the day, in like the 90s and the early 2000s and the 80s, you know, football players, if they was kind of arrogant towards reporters, they could say, well, you never played. Oh, you don't get that luxury no more because now Hall of Famers, they're becoming the media. These Hall of Fame players that myself and the players themselves grew up watching, now they're becoming the media. Chris Carter, Shannon Sharpe, Ocho Cinco, Ryan Clark. Just to name a few. Those guys are the media now. And so now you don't get to say, well, they're just hating. No, they know football. They played. They're Hall of Famers. They're Pro Bowlers. They're Super Bowl winners. They were team captains. So guess what? You can't sit around here and just say whatever you would like, because those guys knows what it takes. Some of those guys are at a place that you aren't. They're in the Hall of Fame. They're multiple time Super Bowl winners. Something you didn't do. As far as conspiracy theories, look, Rodgers, stop. Because the thing is, when Kyrie was doing it, everybody wanted to criticize it. That's the craziest thing about it. If Kyrie would have said something like that, it would have been all over ESPN. And that's the problem that I have. Kyrie, he had his ways, but at least he didn't lie about it. He didn't throw a rock and hide his hand. To your point, a PSP.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Chip. If there was one thing that really bugged me with Aaron Rodgers with the vaccine situation, he had a chance to clean it up on Pat McAfee's show, because he went on Pat McAfee's show the next few days after that, and the fool quoted MLK.
And you know what? I'm gonna say that quote when we get off the air, because it seems like a lot of guys, in particular, I would say, love to quote the late great one. But hey, we all know the result. He's not here anymore as a result of certain things. And if you can't read between that line, I don't know how much more I can spell it out for you. So excuse my ultimate seriousness on that subject. By the way, my fault. Let's get back to Playful Champ. Look, Aaron Rodgers, number one, the COVID vaccine ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You stink right now. The media is not in the business. These former football players who have become the media at this point, they're not as interested in sucking up to you. They're going to tell it how it is and not like it was. And if you were anybody else, they would tell it like it is. Lamar Jackson gets criticized. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Everybody gets criticized. You're not freaking special. You've had problems every which way but left. Everywhere you have gone. You had problems with Mike McCarthy. You had problems with Matt LaFleur. You had problems within your own little crew, I will say. You've had problems with Robert Saleh. You've had problems with the general manager. Who don't you have problems with? I mean, is anybody if somebody was lying on you, I could understand you getting defensive. But when people are telling the truth about you, you have no right to get upset. When people tell me, hey, champ, you need to go run, I don't get upset. That's the truth. I need to go run. That's just the fact. So when people are spewing facts to you, you really need to pay attention to what they're saying. And like I said, if this was the old school media of just journalists and beat writers and reporters, I can pretty much understand a player saying, oh, they're hating. You don't know what you're talking about, dude, blah, 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 blah. But Ron, these guys that won Super Bowls, they're in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They've done things equal, if not exceed you. They've done things equally, if not exceeded you. They may not have won MVPs and been the quarterback of the year, but trust me, Ryan Clark was a hell of a player, not only for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but for the Washington Commanders. Shannon Sharpe is in the Hall of Fame. Ocho Cinco's headed to the Hall of Fame. These guys who are criticizing you, they're your contemporaries. You played around some of these guys, or was on the back, or you came in when they was on the back end of their career. So let's not pretend like, oh yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. This isn't the old school media. This isn't a bunch of journalists. If Skip Bayless would have said something about you or something or somebody of that nature, then you have the right to say, okay, they're hating or whatever. But this is Ryan Clark. He's a football player. He played for the most storied franchise in the world. Part of one of the greatest defenses of all time when you talk about the 2011 Pittsburgh Steelers. And he's smart as a whip. So, Aaron,
not to mention the success that he is having, not only with ESPN, the Pivot podcast, and everything else along the way.
Yeah. And like I said, these are not, look, it would be different if a guy like me was talking about Aaron Rodgers. He would have a legitimate gripe saying that, hey, I believe Champ's just hating because he never got a chance to play pro football. And that would be a legitimate gripe. But these guys, it's not the old school media anymore. And guess what? Vaccines, Bart doesn't have anything to do with anything. As far as woke culture is concerned, I will say this. It's quite ironic that you want to bring up woke when you're wrong. It's really quite ironic. You know, woke culture. Also, when you get caught lying and we call you out as woke. Okay. When you get called out because you suck and you can't pass gas if you fed you beans all night in the city of New York, then it's woke. Oh, okay. When you get coaches fired and you have problems with everybody, including your mom and your daddy, it's woke. Oh, okay. So it seems like whenever, you know, somebody tell you the truth and that makes you uncomfortable and make you ball up like an ant in an anthill deep in the clay mountains of Georgia, then all of a sudden it's woke.
Or in Trump's case, fake news.
Well, yeah, I was avoiding that, but if you will. But the thing is,
go ahead, you can say.
But the thing is, yes, stop veering. Let me break it down. For woke means aware.
Thank you.
Woke means aware. That's all it means. So if you want to take woke and turn it into propaganda, much like a lot of mainstream media have taken a lot of other words and made it propaganda, feel free. But all woke means is aware. And like I said, and I said this on my own platform, it's quite ironic when you're wrong. When something is wrong or you're wrong, then it's woke. When it makes you uncomfortable within the slightest. Oh, it's woke. But for some reason, we have to embrace guys like Joey Bosa who go on national television and express themselves. And they're praised as folk heroes. But on the flip side of that coin, if somebody tells Aaron Rodgers the truth about something or speaks the truth about something, oh my God, it's woke. Sports have gone woke. All woke is awareness. And if you're not, and they teach me, and I will tell you this for everybody who's going to attack me in the comments, if my main man clipped this video, all woke is awareness. And in the great words of the United States Army, which I served 8 years under, situational awareness is everything.
Well said. BRF?
I've been waiting to chomp at the bit of this for a while. I've been chomping at the bits for a while. Aaron. Bro. Let me come here. Let me holler at you real quick. Let me learn you something. For one, we not gonna sit here and act like the defensive receiver rule didn't come into play because Ryan Clark was out there sleeping people. Okay, we're not gonna act like that. Ryan Clark at his heyday was putting people to sleep, which is one of the reasons why you're seeing the defensive receiver called a lot more nowadays. Man calls rule changes. When I see people in the comments talking about who is Ryan Clark? Ryan Clark was that dude when he was in Washington and he was at Pittsburgh. One of the more underrated safeties over the past 15 years. one of the more underrated safeties of the last 15 years, slept people because that's what he was asked to do, and he did it well, better than a lot of other people. A lot of other people. Aaron, look, and that Vax thing is a deflection. Boy, you suck this year. You suck. Ain't no need to sugarcoat it. This year you sucked. When you see the stats, 3,200 yards. Honestly, the stats aren't even really all that bad when you look at the stats. 3,200 yards, 23 touchdowns, 8 picks. The stats ain't all that bad. But if you read between the lines of those stats, Aaron Rodgers, you suck this year. I don't want to hear a 4-10 quarterback talking. I don't want to hear a 4-10 quarterback running his mouth, particularly a quarterback who's supposed to be all the Jets needed from him was adequate to good quarterback play, not the Aaron Rodgers that was winning MVPs in Green Bay. And this team was supposed to be like one of those like teams that could possibly make a run. I do not want to hear a 4-10 quarterback run his mouth about anything. I don't care if he's Aaron Rodgers. I don't. And the whole Vax thing ain't nothing but a deflection because he's been trashed this year. It's a deflection to try to take some of the heat off him when he know he ain't been that good this year. Oh, he wants to play in 2025, but not necessarily with the New York Jets. Don't nobody give a damn. Hell, you can go play for the Toronto Argonauts for all we give a damn. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. You ain't been good this year. Do whatever it is you feel you need to do to comfort yourself. Boy, ain't nobody in this to soothe your ego. Sports media don't get paid to soothe your ego. Sports media get paid to call it like it is. If you suck, folks, we gonna tell you. You ain't been that good this year. If you can't handle it, retire. Just get out the league. If you can't handle it, no more, retire. You already one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game. You got nothing to prove. You just wanted to show that you can still do it, in the twilight of your career. You wanted to show you could still do it. We can completely understand. The problem is you ain't done it. You have not done it. And it'd be one thing if you ain't have offensive talent with the New York Jets. You got Garrett Wilson. You got Mike. You had Mike Williams. You traded him because you made him out to be a scapegoat. You got Breece Hall. You got Braylon Allen. It ain't like you don't got talent though. You just suck this year. And don't try to deflect and get around the fact that y'all ain't been good this year. Y'all been horrible. You got Robert Saleh fired. You got freaking Woody Johnson coming out saying, "Man, I felt like we should have benched him after week 4."
Not to mention Woody Johnson even nixing the trade deal for Jared Jeudy, all because of his Madden
Because
rating.
his Madden rating wasn't high enough. Get the hell out of here with that. Because his Madden rating wasn't high enough. This is why we laugh at the New York Jets. This is why they are the epitome of the word laughing stock. Because stuff like that should not be written out and admitted out loud. Some stuff you just keep to yourself. Woody Johnson saying they didn't make a trade for Jared Jeudy because his Madden rating wasn't high enough. Boy, that would be like me saying, well, that would be like me being a GM for like an NBA team and be like, man, I didn't want to make a trade for such and such because his 3-point rating wasn't high enough in 2K. But nobody want to hear that. Don't nobody want to hear that. I mean, bro. We're not here to soothe your ego. We're here to call it like it is. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go on Pat McAfee and let Pat McAfee soothe your ego, and let me tell you something, I got nothing but love for Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee been doing the thing since he got in the sport media, so I ain't got nothing against Pat McAfee. He doing the thing. If you feel like he's what you need to soothe your ego, by all means, you hit him up every single week and let that man soothe your ego. But until you play some meaningful football, shut the hell up, get off of my screen, get back out there with your team and practice and try to win the rest of these games and save some faith. Because as far as I'm concerned, you are irrelevant to me right now. And you are one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks in the history of this league, in my opinion. Right now, you are irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
You're irrelevant. And like right now, it's a situation where right now you just don't matter. You don't matter because you suck this year. Your team ain't good. You're one of the main reasons why your team ain't been good this year because you caused all this turmoil and all this chaos. You got Robert Saleh fired. You basically got mad because he wanted to take play calling away from Nathaniel Hackett. You caused Robert Saleh to get fired, and then
Joe
guess what?
Douglas.
Yeah, and Joe Douglas got fired. But then, like after Robert Saleh got fired, guess what happened? They gave Todd Downing the friggin' offensive play calling in anyway, and took it away from Nathaniel Hackett anyway. So what was the point? What was the entire point of that? There was no point in that. If they were going to do it anyway, why fire Robert Saleh? At least when he was there, the defense was competent. After you fired him, the defense then went down the crapper. They trash too. They're trash too. And it's all just they're all casualties of war when it comes to having to deal with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback. Right. You don't matter. I do not want to hear a 4-10 quarterback run his mouth about anything other than what I need to do to help my team get better and try to win the rest of these games to save face and not have a top 5 draft pick this year. That's what you need to be doing because you're on your way to getting a top 5 pick. And I hope to God they draft Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward so they could come in there and fix your mess up. Get the hell off my screen. I don't want to hear your mouth no more. Go do something of meaning and go help the Jets win some games and shut up and get off my screen. You trash ass deflector. I'm done hearing about you. I'm done hearing about you. Shut up and play football. I bet you don't like hearing that one, but guess what? In this situation, I'm gonna say it because you suck this year. Shut up and play football.
Go ahead, champ.
I don't mean to be this guy, but I'm gonna ask this question. Daddy, I have to ask this question. If anybody else had asked that question about 9/11, one of the biggest tragedies in our nation's history, and the reason why a lot of young men, much like myself, had to go across that water and go down range, if anybody else had asked that question, they'd still be blackballed to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me I'm lying.
No, you ain't lying.
Because when the incident happened with Kyrie, when he made that post about that little video,
yeah.
they wanted him to they
Killed
nailed him to the floor. Rightfully so, but they nailed him to the floor. So for something like that to come out, and we're still, as a matter of fact, Stephen A was talking about Kyrie needs to retire. All of this, yeah. So,
but you know, he's not going to say that with Aaron Rodgers because we all know he loves himself some Aaron Rodgers. He coined the term "bad man."
Again, you can love something. Look, this is why I love the Chris Carter and Randy Moss relationship. This is why I love the relationship, because when Chris Carter left the Vikings and became a member of the media, he told the truth about Randy Moss, how he takes plays off, how he plays when he gets ready. That's the thing. And that's what, and they still friends to this day. That's what you have to admire. You tell me the truth about myself. BRF does as well. So guess what? You can have friends, but what kind of friend are you if you don't tell your friend the damn truth, or you don't speak the truth about it? Are you really a friend, or are you an enabler?
Mm-hmm. Shannon Sharpe has said it before. No, sorry to interrupt you, Shannon. He said it before. Yeah. Surround yourself with people who will tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear.
Right.
Exactly. Real friends will soothe your ego when you need it, but real friends will light you up when you need it too.
And I got a little bit more to say, fellas, and I want Champ to see me when I make this statement. Because Champ, you mentioned about woke being where, right? And Aaron brings up woke mob, and all this other stuff, and a lot of people. Well, guess what? if I'm going to be called woke, I'd rather be woke than, guess what, champ? A joke. And that's how I look at Aaron Rodgers. Because based on his play, it's certainly not been to the par that Jets fans, football fans anticipated. And Aaron, you keep running your mouth about all this stuff, man. This is an example as to why you've only reached one Super Bowl. And Shannon Sharp, believe it or not, thought at one point with you and Belichick, y'all could win multiple Super Bowls. He even changed that position because, to quote Vince McMahon, no chance in hell you could ever win Super Bowls with Bill Belichick, as many Super Bowls with Bill Belichick like he did with Tom Brady, because it all comes to sacrifice. And Aaron Rodgers is all about him.
Yeah.
And and I get really tired, especially people like with Aaron who look down on people. Ryan Clark has played professional football and at a damn good level. Pro Bowl, won a Super Bowl, doing great things. Played at LSU. Now hosting the Pivot Podcast, one of the best NFL analysts. Again, Aaron, you just can't stand the fact that people are critiquing your game when they're factually correct. But you can't even accept that. They don't want to talk about your private, your personal matters, anything like that. We just talking football. We just talking about your game. And your game this season hasn't been to the standard that Jets fans and football fans anticipated. And remember, we mentioned, I came up with the topic, guys, on the show. Between Kirk Cousins or Aaron Rodgers, who's going to have the better season? And even though Kirk Cousins at one point started off well and tailed off, I would much rather want Kirk Cousins as my quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. Yes, I get it. Kirk Cousins is nowhere near as accomplished as you are, Aaron. He's nowhere near the talent as you are. But Kirk Cousins makes it a hell of a lot easier to play with because he cares, because he doesn't look down on people, because he doesn't treat people a certain way, the way that you do. And look, Aaron, you're entitled to your opinion, but the way you come across, the way you treat people, smug, arrogant, condescending, all this stuff, and you denying all this stuff, like I said before, it's kind of like a certain individual who's now president, fake news. Well, Aaron, not everything that's being reported or said about you is fabricated. It's the truth. And look, I wish Aaron Rodgers nothing but the best for life after football. I do see him having his own show, podcast, or whatever, doing like what we do. But Aaron, just to let you know, we ain't going anywhere. Not just with people who play football and commenting on this, ourselves as well. We'll probably may not be like you, Aaron, but guess what? We're entitled to our own opinion. And whether you like it or not, if you don't like our opinion, go on with your day. Move on. Go do something else. Go be with your family. Go play basketball. Go do something else. Go to South America and go on use ayahuasca for all I care. But at the end of the day, Aaron, everyone's entitled to their opinion. You don't like what we have to say? Turn off your TV or change the channel or watch something else.
Or play better.
Well, he needs to retire anyway. He needs to move on, but that's a story for another day. But go ahead, champ.
Is it really an opinion when somebody's bringing up your stats?
No, it's not.
Truth is the ultimate defense.
Is it really? This is what I say. Is it really an opinion? I understand we live in an opinionated business as far as sports, but is it really an opinion? Is the tape? My thing is this. As a former amateur athlete myself, amateur boxer, amateur martial artist, even in the Army, the tape don't lie. Those stats ain't got no feelings. The tape don't lie, and the stats ain't got no feelings. So if we see it on that tape and those stats that you ain't worth the salt and the bread, then that's just what that is. It's not an opinion. It's not a warning. It's not a question. It's a fact. So people always say they're entitled to their opinion. Okay. What that tape say? What them stats say? What your teammates say? What the coaching staff? What is the turmoil that you have done? Because you've essentially done General Sherman's march through New York City at this point. You don't know who General Sherman is, look it up. You have basically scorched earth. So the thing is that tape and those stats don't lie. And the thing is, what relevancy does it have when you're bringing up all of this other political stuff versus somebody else bringing up your stats? What does that have to do with anything? But you're the one hollering woke. Ain't that some blank, blank, blank?
Again, as he always is, arrogant, condescending, flippant, dismissive. This is what people have said about him. And like you always say, champ, everybody ain't lying. So at some point in time, it's who you are. But anyway, fellas, let's move on. Let's get back to football. Let's go into some NFL picks. Before we because we got last two topics on the show. We got some big games tomorrow, Saturday. Houston at Kansas City. Now, Patrick Mahomes hasn't been ruled out of the game. He suffered an ankle injury in the victory against the Cleveland Browns, but he's gonna play. I believe Kansas City should win this one. Houston, they're starting to play a little bit better. CJ Stroud early on, he was getting to a sophomore slump, but I got Kansas City to win this one. I'm gonna go 23-19 Chiefs. Who you got, BRF?
I got Kansas City winning this game. I feel like a game like this is where the Kansas City front seven is going to come up huge. I think they can get good pressure on CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud's been playing better as of late, but I don't trust that Houston offensive line and that Kansas City front seven. They're just full of men, full of beasts. And I got Kansas City 24-17 here.
Champ?
Hey, until I see somebody outside of Josh Allen beat him, that man, Patrick Mahomes, I gotta pick you to win. Until somebody else until I see until my eyes say, hey, okay, you beat, ain't nobody beat him. So hey, Patrick Mahomes, man, we might be on the verge of history, man, and I'm excited to be a part of it as a fan. So Patrick Mahomes.
All right. Another big game. By the way, Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites in that one. Next big game, a rematch between these two AFC North rivals. Steelers at Ravens. Baltimore is a 7-point favorite in this one. Champ, you did an excellent video on TikTok about the MVP between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I still have Josh Allen right now as the favorite for the MVP because 25 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, still carrying the Buffalo Bills to the number 2 seed in the AFC. He has the big wins against Kansas City, giving Kansas City their first loss of the season and beating Detroit. Detroit hasn't had a loss since week 2, and that was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the stat with Josh Allen, the turnovers. So if people want to pay attention to the stats, how about the turnovers? Because since he was drafted in the NFL, I think he led the league in turnovers since he was drafted in the NFL. But you can't go wrong with Lamar Jackson with 34 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions and putting up Aaron Rodgers' numbers. Do you think that the Ravens can finally have a chance to beat the Steelers? Because I don't know what Lamar Jackson's record against them. I think he's like, 1-4? And so, given the fact they're at home, they're 7-point favorites. Lamar still has a chance, by the way, to still win the division because Pittsburgh did lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. Will the Ravens finally get the job done?
If there was ever a time that they have a chance, it will be now. And now Pittsburgh, one of Pittsburgh's main weapons is out in the form of George Pickens. And we don't know how healthy the great TJ Watt is at this point. He's going to play. We don't know how healthy he is. There was ever a time that you could beat him. It's probably now. Lamar, you got to beat him. Your MVP is on the line. And as well as, as exciting as you are, the jury's still out on you on whether you could beat Pittsburgh. The still BRF stunned her a little bit. It was much like the fact that Vic just could not beat the Tampa Bay Bucks. It was just like that defense just had a knack for stopping them. But you have a chance, and look, you are realizing, hey, although you have your best passing season, I'm glad that you've realized, especially this past game, how we say it down south, BRF, you got to dance with what brought you. And
exactly.
So guess what? If there's any chance that he has in order to beat him, it's right now. Time is now. So I'd say I'm going to take Lamar because I'm a fan and I want to see him win, man. But, hey, I think it's going to be a shootout between him and Russell Wilson, though.
All right. I just want to make a correction. Lamar Jackson has a record. I'm reading the stat here from StatMuse. Lamar Jackson has a record of 2-5 against the Steelers.
Dang. That's nasty.
BRF.
And I'm going to talk about this stat that I shocked Champ and Flash with last night, and I'll be more than happy to present it to you. This is the first time. This will be the first time Lamar Jackson has played the Pittsburgh Steelers at home with fans. Either he was injured or COVID 2020, but this will be the first time Lamar Jackson will be up for a game against the Steelers in Baltimore as the home quarterback with a crowd. When I saw that, I was like, that's insane. But like I said, it was either injuries or COVID. That being said, no George Pickens. We don't, like Champ said, no George Pickens. We don't know how effective TJ Watt's going to be for this game. If there's ever a game for you to put your stamp on why you should win your third MVP, this is it. And also to still have a shot to win this division, you have to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers tomorrow. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Pittsburgh beats you again. The NFC North is basically over as we're speaking.
AFC North.
Yeah, the AFC. That's what I said. The AFC North. It is over if Pittsburgh wins this game. Is done. I'm gonna go Baltimore here because I think, like I said, with that added narrative of Lamar Jackson playing against Pittsburgh at home with fans for the first time in his career, I think that's gonna add juice to this. I'm going 27-24 Baltimore here. I think he gets it. And I think he has a pretty big game here. But I tell you what, like I said, Pittsburgh, we've said it, Pittsburgh is to Lamar Jackson like what Atlanta was to Mike Vick back in the day. Disciplined defense, understanding rush lanes, knowing when he wants to run, how to making him beat you passing the ball. Pittsburgh just knows how to do it better than any other defense. But I'm going to pick Baltimore here because I just think the added narrative is going to give Lamar some juice, and I think he's going to come out swinging. I got 27-24 Baltimore.
All right. Now, it is important because, again, shout out to our guy, Dwayne Coleman. He did mention that the Baltimore Ravens waived Deontay Johnson, and they also ruled out Nelson Aguilar. So we're going to see how that works out for Lamar. Another rematch. Eagles at Commanders. Remember, we saw these two teams face each other Thursday Night Football. Eagles won that one. Saquon Barkley went off in that game. I'm going to go with the Eagles because, again, I just don't think that the Commanders have no answer stopping the run. They're not really good stopping the run. And look, the only chance we have, it is at home. I think Jaden Daniels will be better going up against the Eagles. I think, unfortunately, with Zach Ertz, that hurts because he had a concussion in that Saints game. And by the way, I told you, Champ, even though that the Commanders won, they beat the Saints, but it wasn't pretty because they almost lost that one. So I'm going to go with the Eagles. I just think right now they're just the hottest team right now in the NFC. Detroit, unfortunately, they lost David Montgomery. He's out with a torn MCL. So that hurts Detroit's offense. Now you're going to have to ask Jahmyr Gibbs to either have more of a workload or you're just going to have to increase Jared Goff's workload. So, and Dan Campbell, he's going to have to make some adjustments. And Dan Campbell, please don't do anything silly, like such as going for that onside kick early on in that game. I got Philly winning this one. I just think they're just too loaded of a team. They're picking it up. They're playing their best football right now. Even though before the Steelers game, they barely won against the Carolina Panthers. I think this is going to be a close one, but I got the Eagles 27, Commanders 17. BRF.
Yeah, I got Philadelphia here. I think Philly's too hot. They're clicking on all cylinders right now. Saquon Barkley. I mean, if he's not going to get MVP, at least let him be one of the front runners for Offensive Player of the Year and the work he's putting in this year. Yeah, Philly's too hot, and in particular their defense. Their defense is rolling. Pass rush, coverage. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, just doing it in the secondary. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis up front, just wrecking havoc, just wrecking shop, just causing all type of havoc for interior lines. The Eagles are too hot right now. I got 31-20 Eagles.
Champ.
The Philadelphia Bulldogs.
All right, let's look at the next game right here. Let's look at Sunday. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is an easy one. Although I think it'll be a little bit closer, but I think it's kind of easy. Rams at Jets.
The Rams. I think the board is unanimous, Your Honor.
The Rams are 3-point favorites.
I'll say unanimous, but the Rams secondary is still a little meh. And even though Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers and he can still pick on a bad secondary, but I'm gonna pick the Rams.
Hey, shout out to our guy Harrison because I did the clip and getting a lot of views on TikTok, IG. Thank you. Hopefully TikTok don't get banned or whatever. But the Rams are starting to heat up. And let's not ignore what Sean McVay is doing. Let's not ignore what Matthew Stafford can do with Nacua, with Kupp, and they got Kyren Williams. So I actually like it for the Rams. They're a sleeper in the NFC. Let's keep our eyes out on the Rams because we've seen them before in 2021, although it was a little while ago, but it's going to be hard with that team. That's all I'm saying. All right. I'm going to let both of y'all two vote together. Giants at Falcons. Falcons are a 9-point favorite.
That shocked me.
Champ, you mentioned Michael Penix is a rookie.
Yep. But forever, I love Atlanta. I'm going to go. I'm riding and dying. So, hey, man, I'm gonna stick with Atlanta, man. Hey, this is an opportunity for us, man. And hey, like I said, even if Michael makes a bunch of some rookie mistakes, that defense should be able to contain the Giants' offense. I don't have no faith in the Giants' offense, and that's more so why I'm taking them I'm taking our defense over their offense more so than Michael Penix over that defense because they got some dogs on that defense. No pun intended. In Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns, which used to give us headaches down in Atlanta, by the way. But I trust our defense. I trust our defense to shut down that offense more so than I trust, their defense to shut down our offense. So that's the reason why I say
BRF.
I'm picking the Falcons, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm picking the Falcons because of the defense. Shout out to AK-17, Arnold Ebiketie. He has the second highest pressure rate in the National Football League right now from the defensive end position at a 22% clip. Homeboy's starting to find himself, and couldn't come at a better time. D'Angelo Malone had a breakout game with 2 sacks against the Raiders. Zach Harrison. I've been on the Zach Harrison train since we drafted him out of Ohio State. Kentavious Street's been balling. This defensive line, and I don't need to talk about Grady Jarrett. He's getting healthy. He's looking like Grady Jarrett. The defensive line's been balling. Caden Ellis has been the unsung hero of this defense, number 55. If y'all don't know who Caden Ellis is, watch Sunday. He is like the Swiss Army knife of the Atlanta Falcons defense. They move him up. They switch. They disguise all these looks to help the pass rush, get rush on the quarterback. He's sideline to sideline. He does everything you ask a linebacker to do. And as far as the offense goes, I think they're going to be able to put up enough points. So give me the Falcons 34-17.
Shout out to our guy Grant. He just said Notre Dame putting B to A. Tell Georgia they next. We all know Grant is a diehard Notre Dame fan. Shout out to Notre Dame. But you're gonna have
they're gonna die hard too next week.
All right, let's get back into it with some football, man. Cardinals at Panthers. Arizona is a 4.5-point favorite.
Yeah. You know what? This is not a football decision. My brain will say the Cardinals, but my heart right in here. Shout out to Harrison. This one's for you. North Carolina. Come on and raise up. I'm going to take the Panthers on this one.
Yeah, you do it for the Panthers, but you damn sure won't do it for them Saints.
Never. Never.
BRF.
Man, after last week, I don't want to pick the Panthers because I tell you what, boy, they let the Cowboys pass rush come in and kind of embarrass them a little bit last week. I know Arizona doesn't have the caliber of pass rush that the Dallas Cowboys have when they're all in all cylinders. I'm gonna go Arizona here. I just think for me, the X factor is James Conner and the way he's been able to just stay consistent and play from the running back position. I'm gonna go 27-21 Arizona.
I'm gonna go with the Panthers. I think the Panthers could actually win this one. Arizona, I know they're still competing for playoff contention, but just would like to see the Panthers win. Browns at Bengals. Since he's a 9-point favorite. Unanimous?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yep.
Okay. Titans at Colts. Indy's a 3.5-point favorite.
The Colts.
Colts.
All right. This should be pretty unanimous. Lions at Bears.
Yeah, next. Next.
All right. This one is a really good one. Vikings at Seahawks.
Ooh, nice.
I got the Vikings.
Honestly, this should be unanimous too. I got Minnesota.
Lake Minnetonka.
All right, next one. This should be pretty unanimous. Patriots at Bills.
The Bills.
Yeah, board is unanimous, Your Honor.
Okay. Spam or Vienna sausage for this game right here. Jacksonville against the Raiders.
Can we add potted meat as another choice? Oh man. Gosh. Lord. Jack, in the battle of attrition, I think you gotta I think Brian Thomas Jr. is gonna be the best player on the field at all times.
And
Just
Mac
for that
Jones, to
alone.
his credit, has actually been playing
And
well.
Mac Jones has been balling a little bit. You got to give him credit. Yeah, I'm picking Jacksonville.
Champ?
Saxonville.
We all know you saying that because we all know good and damn well you don't trust Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, he like I said, he couldn't pass gas if you fed him beans all night.
Mm-hmm. All right, another interesting one. 49ers at Dolphins. Miami's a 1-point favorite. Champ, you were on Deebo Samuel. You told him to go to San Francisco Municipal Court, have his name changed to Manos de Piedra, hands of stone. Shout out to the great Roberto Duran.
Hey, you got to bounce back this game, Debo. Let's make sure you don't got. Let's make sure you don't get like the real Debo, God rest his soul, and get a brick. Because your hands were definitely made of stone. So, hey, I'm gonna take the Niners on this, but the best team money can buy broke up like Christmas toys at this point.
BRF.
This game is hard to pick because the Dolphins ain't gonna be strong, ain't gonna be fearless enough at the end of the movie like Red was after Debo got knocked out and took a chain back. I don't think it's gonna get like that. Yeah. Even with four running backs out, because I think Isaac Guerrero just got announced that he's not playing. So that's 4 running backs down for the 49ers now, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick them. I'm picking the 49ers just off of the standpoint that whatever magic we thought Tua was working, bringing that offense back with Miami, I don't know. He ain't that guy. Tua Tagovailoa is just not that guy. I'm picking. I just by default. I just think San Francisco is a more talented team. Still, I'm picking in the 49ers.
I'm gonna pick Miami on this one because I just think it's gonna be at home, and I just think with all the injuries that San Francisco's had, Brock Purdy's gonna have to be your best running back in this one. There was even one game, I believe, against the Dallas Cowboys. He had as many rushing yards as the Dallas Cowboys. So Brock Purdy's gonna have to run the football. I'm gonna go with Miami with this one. I like Miami because of the amount of injuries that San Francisco has had, and I think with Miami, look, I like Tua, but this is as far as he can go. Big game right here. Tampa at Dallas. Tampa's a 4-point favorite. As much as I love Baker Mayfield, I'm going with Dallas in this one. Because Cooper Rush, to his credit, has played solid. He's played solid. Dallas, I think, given the fact no one's expecting them to make the playoffs or anything like that, they're going to win this one. I am concerned about Dallas's pass rush. They're starting to play a little bit better now, going up against it. Again, Baker, you could make the argument he's back at Texas, where he's from, but Baker, take care of the football. Get Irving Irving. If you can get Irving going, and Dallas is not good in terms of stopping the run. So if you can get that going, I like Tampa Bay's chances. And I still have skepticism about their defense from time to time. So that's why I have Dallas in this one, because with Dallas, even if they win this game, There's no expectations. No one's expecting them to go to the playoffs. And even if Jerry Jones finishes the season, he's probably still going to keep Mike McCarthy. And if he fires him, I believe he's probably going to hire some yes man coach. Wouldn't surprise me if he hired Brandon Staley. I got Dallas. BRF.
If Dak Prescott was healthy and playing, I would pick Dallas because Dak Prescott just seems to kind of have Tampa Bay's number as far as how he just tends to play against them. But with Cooper Rush, that's a whole nother ball game. Now don't get me wrong, with CeeDee Lamb, all things are possible. But and as a Falcons fan, we need Tampa to lose this game. we need Tampa to lose this game. I think this is the last game on Tampa's schedule where it's like, man, they could lose. Gosh. I'm not gonna pick with my heart. I'm gonna pick with my head. I'm gonna pick with my. I'm gonna put the analyst hat on. I'm picking Tampa. I just think if the LA Chargers could not scare the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what the heck we think the Dallas Cowboys gonna scare them for? I got Tampa.
Champ.
Mom, I love you. This one's for you. Dallas.
All right. Monday night football game right here. Let me see if I can find the game. We got Monday night football. I don't know if we have Monday night football. This Saturday or this Sunday. Oh, yes. Monday night football. Saints at Packers.
Boys unanimous, Your Honor.
The boys unanimous. The Aints going back to the Bayou with an L.
All right.
And this ain't one of them just being biased because it's the Saints. No, the Packers are like a real NFC Championship dark horse kind of team. This might be B to A. This might be a B to A kind of game.
All right, fellas. Wrestling. We're gonna do something different. Female wrestler, the great Trish Stratus. I gotta give credit to her. The rivalry with her and Lita. I just like Trish Stratus was one of the perfect examples of the WWF. I'm sorry. I know I'm gonna get. I know I sound redundant, but her, Rock, Rikishi, Vince, still comical to this day. And Trish Stratus, fine like wine. But she was an excellent wrestler of the WWE. Love her energy. Had some good mic skills. Did some good promos for the woman. So I got to give her credit on that. Her and Lita. I love the rivalry between her and Lita. So I'm gonna go. Those are some of my favorite Trish Stratus moments. BRF.
Man. Anytime Prime Trish Stratus was on the TV screen, that was one of my favorite wrestling TV moments. Anytime Prime Trish Stratus was on the screen, let me tell you something. Trish Stratus and even still now to this day is like the closest personification to the word goddess. And this woman's like 47 now, and still is just like one of the most beautiful women in the world, bar none. It's just insane how good how she's still doing it at 47 years old. It's amazing. I mean, like main event Monday Night Raw with Lita, the Unforgiven 2006, the retirement match with Lita, slept on good match. The rivalry with Mickie James, that WrestleMania 20, WrestleMania 22, the match they had at WrestleMania 22, great match, slept on. And then just to kind of put in perspective how good she still was, the SummerSlam match with Charlotte Flair was a really good match. The Becky Lynch rivalry, the what was it, the Payback steel cage match, so good, just good. such a. I'm talking about we came into that steel cage match not expecting much, and that was a match of the year candidate. I mean, tore the house down. But honestly though, and on the comedy side, a moment that we don't necessarily talk about was the Desperate Housewives spoof. Like yeah, it was like her, Shelton Benjamin, Vince McMahon, and the Hardys. Like like the towel. Just I mean, like that was at a time where this was still like WWE at their edgy peak, and spoofing that commercial was just prime WWE at that time, just prime. So if y'all haven't seen that skit, go to YouTube and pull it up. And it was funny because this was Trish with her gimmick after she had broke her nose. So she was still wearing the protective face gear at the time, doing this and still pulling this off. So A, that tells you how hilarious that was, but B, that still illustrates how fine Trish Stratus is. So I digress. That's neither here nor there. But but if I had to pick one that stands out for me, it was for me it was the Raw main event. Her and Lita. To be given a spot like that, because I feel like outside of main event the pay-per-view, the biggest thing you could have done was main event a Monday Night Raw. Because Monday Night Raw is the flagship. And to main event a Monday Night Raw and tear the house down the way Trish and Lita did back in 03, you can't ask for nothing better than that. That's still one of my favorite women's matches of all time. The spot where Lita did the tope suicida and basically scorpioned on Trish Stratus is still one of the gnarliest things I've ever seen. And for her to get up and finish that match and win the women's championship, like I'm talking about, that's like that match was standing ovation worthy. So for me, that's the Trish Stratus moment that really stands out for me. Just putting women's wrestling on the map as far as the WWE is concerned, and main event the Monday Night Raw and tearing the house down. I'm a proponent. And y'all know me. I'm a big proponent of women's wrestling anyway. I feel like they deserve their shine in their spotlight because some of the best women wrestlers in the world are the women. When you give them time, they go out and do it. So I was happy to be a wrestler fan that night, watching them main event Raw and tear the house down. So that moment for me with Trish Stratus stands out for me, and she is like if there was a picture, if the word icon was in a dictionary, like if there was a picture beside the word icon in the dictionary from a woman's perspective, it's Trish Stratus, just bar none.
Champ.
You know what? Does everybody remember when she won the hardcore title? Well, that was a funny segment. I know it was by accident, but winning the hardcore title doing the 24/7 rules, that was something special. But look, I wish that she would have been at her peak now. I wish that, because if you really want to be honest with you, Trish Stratus was one of the main women in wrestling that made you focus on the wrestling rather than on, all the other stuff, I will say. She was like, well, damn, look at the technique. Yeah. So I think that she made us pay attention, especially when she came out of the shorts and she started wearing the pants. And I remember she did an interview where she said that I came out of the shorts to start wearing the pants because I really wanted people to pay attention to my wrestling ability. And I think that she was the first outside of Mae Young, outside of the Fabulous Moolah, I would say, in order to make us pay more attention to women's wrestling, especially, like I said, not to be repetitive or regurgitate the same information, but when her and Lita main evented Raw, that was something to behold, especially back in 2004, that was something special. Look, like I said, I only wish that she was at her peak now versus back then, because I believe she would be even tops. She would be the top women's superstar right now. I mean, she would be the top woman in women's wrestling. And she got it to where it is today because, like I said, although we admire their beauty, we are looking at their wrestling ability a lot more because of Trish Stratus. We're looking at their ability a lot more, and you got to tip your hat to that because before Trish, let's just be brutally honest, we was looking at a lot of matches because of the lewdness in it. Let's just be honest about that. We was looking at a lot of matches with Sable and Jacqueline and stuff like that. Although Jacqueline is a Hall of Famer, she's a great wrestler, but we was looking at those matches for a lot of the lewd stuff that was in it. You know, us being teenagers during the Attitude Era, who wouldn't? But that being said, Trish made us pay more attention to wrestling ability, more so than the lewdness and the sexiness of it, I will say.
Entertainment, yeah.
That's what I will say that Trish Stratus did for women's wrestling. She made us pay more attention to the ability and the technique and the technicality and the mat wrestling ability of the women's division more so than paying attention to, I will say, bra and panty matches. So
Also,
oh my bad.
No, go ahead, champ.
Because she made us, even when she did it, yeah, when she did bra and panties matches, yes, it made us want to watch. But even when she wasn't, we was glued to the television to see if she was going to win. And she's the greatest women's champion of all time for a reason.
Mm-hmm. And also from Canada, we all know that Canada, the historic wrestling, the Hart family and stuff like that, technique. And also just a winner and very classy person. And still to this day, man, to your point, BR at 47 years old and still in phenomenal shape. So that should just tell you, as you get older, take care of yourself. And she's been a pillar to all the women wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them look up to her, so big ups to her. Now, my favorite Lil' Kim track. Although it's not her track, Junior Mafia's Get Money. The verse on Junior Mafia's Get Money. That was fire. Especially with all that language, all that stuff that Lil' Kim was saying. I cannot say it, but man. And then the jump off. Y'all, I know y'all heard of the jump off song in 2003.
Yes, man. Yes.
Lil' Kim, man. I mean, look, the Notorious movie that I watched, Biggie said, dude want to hear sexiness coming from a girl's mouth. Not no gangster bleep. And then Biggie and Kid, man, I mean, the relationship, the chemistry between the two. Lil' Kim, to your point, champ, we did like a start bench and cut at some of the lyrics that she did, and you talked about this. Lil' Kim was on point and on fire, but the verse of Junior Mafia's Get Money, go listen to her verse on Get Money. She was the best one of the Junior Mafia group. And money, power, and respect. Who can ignore that? So those are some of my favorite tracks from Lil' Kim. And just the example of like, not to mention her outfits, man. They were cool, dog. They were cool. Her attitude, her style. Man, love me some Lil' Kim. Champ, favorite track or moment from Lil' Kim, in your opinion?
Oh man, look, Lil' Kim.
I hope I didn't steal your thunder.
No, man. Lil' Kim, man, one of my favorite. I had your posters on my wall when I was in the army, and I had them when I was a teenager. So I appreciate you. So, and I knew all your lyrics. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So, hey, I know it wasn't her song, but The verse she did in Quiet Storm with Mobb Deep.
Mm.
Hey, one could argue that the remix was better than the first one when they put her on.
The remix is better with the original because of her.
Because wow, she came in there and just when she came, and you knew it was her because when she came in hot, you already know what she said in the beginning, and then she just came and just go. And like I said, she did the hook as well. That was a good one. That was great. I know you see me on the video.
Radio.
True. I know you heard me. That was a good one, man. I used to rap that one all the time when I was in school.
Gotta let you know that I got a crush on you.
Yes. I know a hidden gem is Quiet. If you ever go back and look at La Bella Mafia, that album, Quiet. And you gotta give her that 50 Cent song. You gotta get that one.
Not just that, champ. The one with Pink, Maya, Christina Aguilera.
Yes,
the Lady Marmalade remake. Oh man, of course.
Yeah, and there is another song, but I won't. How many?
Yeah.
How many? I will say.
Yeah.
How many? Yeah. That was a good one that I cannot.
No more emphasis is needed for that one. We know.
We know very well. You ain't got to go further. We ain't got to go more, champ. We already know. Don't need to be regurgitated.
That was those outfits were all part of that video. And guess what? Look, if you listen to it, it's like, all right, cool. Look, people try to undersell Little Kim because she's not in front of our faces, and that's what I hate. But look, all of y'all, I will say this in public. All of the women rappers nowadays, from Meg Thee Stallion to Nicki Minaj to Sexy Red to JT, y'all need to go ahead and pack up that 10% and send it to Little Kim, because without her, y'all would not have style. None of you. All of the lewd raps that started with Little Kim. All of the outfits, the outrageousness started with Little Kim. So all of the female rappers nowadays who are great, I give y'all credit. But y'all owe a lot of what y'all are doing right now to Little Kim, because if it wasn't for her, then, and you got to remember back then, especially in the 90s, where politically, I will say everything was about family values. It wasn't popular for her to do that. It wasn't popular at all. It wasn't considered cute. So for you to do something that's controversial during that time and being ahead and being light years ahead of your time, can you imagine if Hardcore, Little Kim's first album, came out in 2024?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if La Bella Mafia came out in 2024? Can you imagine if Put Your Lighters Up came out in 2024? She would be huge, bigger than any one of them. But yeah, to all of the female rappers, y'all owe Little Kim, because she made it popular to talk about a lot of the things that you're talking about today. And it's like I said, you guys were she was ahead of her time in many ways. And look, man, back in the heyday, I'm just gonna say it, Little Kim, you was T. And I hate saying that word, but but you was T. And to quote your own song, the world champ did have a crush.
BRF.
Man. Well, another feature that we need to mention. You want to rumble with the B, huh? Throw a hex on the whole family. All about the Benjamins. Oh, she killed that one. Oh, she killed that feature in that song. My God. Lord. Honestly though, I feel like oh gosh, I don't know. I gotta. Yeah, I mean, come on. Put your lighters up is a great track. Crush on You is a great track. Oh yeah, Magic Stick, 50 Cent, great track, great track, great track. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else?
The
What else? What else?
verse from with Keisha Cole and Missy Elliott, "Let It Go."
Oh Let It Go. Yeah, that's a good one. That version of Ladies Night with her and Left Eye and the Brat and Angie Martinez and Missy Elliott. Her verse in Ladies Night. Well, oh man, bro, that's still one of my favorite tracks. Um, oh gosh, trying to single out Lil Kim. It's so hard because she's like one of my favorite, not just women's rappers. She's just one of my favorite rappers of all time. Period. Because she, yeah, I mean, dude, I come on, man. When you think about the Lady Marmalade remake, you think of all four women on that track. And I love Lil Kim, but I mean, come on, you got Lil Kim, you got Pink, you got Christina Aguilera, and you got Maya. You couldn't help but to love that song because you ain't got nothing but talent on that song. That song was just amazing. So, one, an all-time favorite Lil Kim track. Okay, yeah, honestly, even though it's not her song, yeah. It's gotta be the Quiet Storm remix. It gotta be. It's gotta be. Just like people like I know that Shook One's Part 2 was crowned the greatest beat in the history of hip hop. Quiet Storm is right there. Is right there as far as greatest beats in the history of hip hop. And just the tone she set with the hook and then her verse, like her and Havoc and Prodigy, that was like the triple threat. You couldn't do better than her and Mobb Deep at that time in hip hop. Like, man, that's, even though it's not her track, that's probably my all-time favorite track with her on it, just because of the tone and the beat and just everything. Just, it's a riding track. Like I could still ride and listen to that today. That song is just a great song. So that's probably my all-time favorite one, even though it's not her song. But Quiet Storm is just, oh, that's classic. That's one of them immortal songs that'll just never go away.
Mm-hmm. Oh, breaking news. Notre Dame just defeated Indiana 27-17.
Yeah, they just flat
Come on,
out.
come on down to the Sugar Bowl and get that cemetery red. Come and get that obituary red. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
You're jinxing it. Don't jinx it.
Oh, but
Okay.
and for fellas, for next Friday night on the Sports PSP podcast for favorite music, I gotta give him some love on this one. MC Hammer.
Oh.
Oh man.
So next week on the Sports PSP podcast, we're gonna do favorite MC Hammer track, and for and for wrestling, favorite Big Show moment.
Okay.
So stay tuned for the Sports PSP podcast next week. But BRF, any final words, and let them know where to follow you at, my man.
Always a pleasure to being on here with you two fine gentlemen. Y'all are my brothers in this. Always a pleasure doing this show with y'all. BRF Sports, as always, is the TikTok handle. Linktree is in the bio. Linktree / Big Sugar 1122. My IG, my Facebook, my X. You'll find it all there. And also, like we got the Takedown Wrestling podcast back up and running. We just had an episode a couple days ago. Follow the Takedown. We have a channel on YouTube now. Follow that. We had an episode a couple days ago. It was actually pretty wild. It was pretty good. It was a wrestling GOAT debate. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kenny Omega. Check that out. Between my homie Hate the Pylon CJ and salute True to King TV. True to King TV spoke up for Stone Cold Steve Austin, and CJ Hate the Pylon spoke up for Kenny Omega. So y'all should really go check that out because that was fun. I got to be like a judge. I got to be one of the judges of that. So y'all need to check that out. It's really fun. But yeah, the Takedown podcast is now every Sunday, 4 p.m. 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. If y'all ain't already subscribed, check it out. Me, Elijah, CJ, check that out. And always, we for 1 week only, we did a Thursday night with the Undisputed Goat podcast. Me, my homie Champ, and the brother and the Wisconsin brother Flash. Definitely follow that as well. But to everybody out there, happy holidays. Whatever you celebrate, it don't matter. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, all that. Love you. Show love to your loved ones. Love them. Give them flowers. Let them know that they are loved, they are revered, they are respected, they are admired because they could be here today, gone tomorrow. We've seen it too many times in too many instances. Love and appreciate your family while you got them. Never take anything for granted. We sending love out to each and every one of y'all. Happy holidays. We gonna keep this pushing. We gonna keep this podcast pushing because it's all about love and respect. And we want to give that to everybody that follow us. Shout out to everybody. A topic not thought about is a topic not talked about. We love each and every one of y'all. And thank y'all for the support. And we gonna keep this thing rolling.
Thank you, Undisputed World Champ.
Hey, always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be here on the Sports PSP podcast. Thank you for always inviting me. Thank you for the talks that we have off the camera as well. Huge shout out to, like I said earlier, Carver High, who just won the state championship in football from right here in Columbus, Georgia, man. I'm proud of you young guys, and thank you for bringing something to cheer about for the city, considering a lot of the adversity that we're going through in the city at this point. Another huge shout out to Valdosta State, who's in the college football playoff finals for Division II, fresh out of the state of Georgia. And if you don't know, Valdosta is a football town, and it was featured on Titletown on ESPN. The great Jesse Tuggle is from there. So, hey, pay attention to Division II tomorrow, the Division II college football playoff. Show those young men some love, and we are rooting for you here in Columbus, Georgia, man. Shout out to the Valdosta, Georgia, man. You know, y'all high school was always great, and now it's good to see Valdosta State do good. Shout out to UPSP, shout out to BRF and Flash, the big three. And look, give me a follow on TikTok, however long we got. Let's make the best of it, because guess what? Hey, it's a good app to have, and I'm enjoying it still, man. Although it might be gone, hey, I'm enjoying it. And also tune in to the Undisputed Goat podcast. Had a special Thursday episode last week. We're going back to Saturday next week, and tune in. We had a lot of great topics on there. And follow Flash and BRF. And look, shout out to Columbus, Georgia. Y'all was doing good earlier, but you ain't doing too good right about now. But we love y'all anyway. But shout out to Carver High for bringing some glory back to this great town.
Mm-hmm. Fellas, as always an honor and pleasure having y'all on the pod. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate Brendan from the block, Harrison, Broad, Louise, Casual, Hot Take Kenny, Maria Knows Best, the whole nine. And again, make sure you like and subscribe to their content, man, because they put in a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of work, know their stuff. Also, give shout outs to Roundup as well. Sports PSP podcast already now over 44,000 subscribers. We're going to keep growing. This is the beginning, man. We're not going to stop. We're going to continue to keep grinding and grinding. Hopefully by the end of 2025 or maybe even sooner, Sports PSP podcast hits 100K. So I'm crossing my fingers out on that. But y'all know where to follow me at, folks. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as IG, as well as TikTok Sports PSP 3. Spend time with family, everyone. Happy holidays. Spend time with family and friends. Enjoy as much as you can. Don't take life for granted. And be there. So when someone's going through something, even if someone you don't know, if they're going through something, just be there, help them out, be the best person that you can be. Thank you guys for tuning into the podcast. Y'all stay safe. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Again, happy holidays. Take it easy and peace.